Hello friends, welcome to Universe of Narutox. If you love Naruto What If stories and anime explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now let's begin today's story. The remaining 3 members of Team 7 walked through the gates of Konoha. The mission to Wave had been a disaster. It had started out as a low C rank mission, upgraded to a rank, and it went to hell from there. Sasaki Uchiha died protecting his teammate Naruto Uzumaki from the attack from the masked Ninaku. The battle went from bad to worse as Naruto enraged slaughtered Haku. Zabuza died at Kakashi's hands, and God had shown up with an army of mercenaries made up of street thugs and samurai. Their client had been killed before the end when Sakura, who had lost her right eye due to a dagger from a thug's lit Gato's throat. Naruto was laying unconscious due to chakra exhaustion, had his left eye missing. A broken arrow from a crossbow had been pulled out by the berserker enraged Kakashi, seeing Sasaki dead, his Sharingan activated, looked at his 2 wounded students, and did the only thing he could think of. He performed the transplant procedure and put one of Sasuke's eyes in each of his teammates. The funeral had been short as the Uchiha's body had been burnt to prevent others from learning its secrets. Team 7 left Wave broken. We need to report to the Hokage. Kakashi said to his remaining 2 students who both had their headbands covering their Sharingan-covered eyes like him. Since the Battle of the Bridge, they had been sullen, sad, and nearly unresponsive. Dragged his feet. The blonde had been devoid of anything since the bridge. Kakashi barely got the 2 of them to eat. And then it was a bowl of broth. And he knew in Naruto's case that was wrong. He'd watched the boy go through 30 bowls of ramen in one sitting still be hungry. Without a word, the remainder of Team 7 walked the streets. Kakashi, without his book, saw how the villagers were glaring at and he heard the whispers. He put a hand on the blonde's shoulder, and they kept walking. Reaching the Hokage Tower, they reached the top floor and faced the receptionist. Team 7 to see the Hokage. Mission to protect the bridge builder. Kakashi hated it, but he continued. Failure. The secretary looked up from her paperwork. Where's your other student? She asked. Dead. We need to see the Hokage. He said. Her eyes landed on Naruto and they narrowed. And yet this thing is still alive. Anna, report to Rebecca now, the Hokage said from his doorway. He looked at Team 7, his old eyes saddening as he took in their appearance. Come in, Anbu, he called. A cat-masked Anbu appeared. Send for Iruka, and then make sure we're not disturbed once he's here. The Anbu bowed and vanished in a leaf shushin. Once the door was closed, Serbi watched as Kakashi got his students to sit. He saw they were barely responsive. What happened, Kakashi? He asked once the Jonin took his own seat. The mission was a bust from the start. The client lied about the parameters. We encountered the demon brothers on our second day out. It was then revealed that he was being hunted by God who hired several high-ranked missing nin to kill him. I allowed my students to vote on if we should continue the mission or return. It is my fault as I should have followed procedure but my pride. He lowered his head. We reached the shore of Wave Country when we were attacked by the demon of the bloody mist. We managed to fight him off. He looked at Naruto saved me from a mistake I'd made and we continued. I was weakened due to chakra exhaustion and during the week of guarding the client I had my team learning tree climbing to build their chakra. I should have taught them that weeks ago but again my pride. He shook his head. Zabuza and his partner a masked nin called Haku returned at the end of the week. The client was killed and during the battle Sasaki was as well by Haku while protecting a teammate. I had just killed Zabuza when Kakashi closed his eyes. In a rage tapped into the Kaili power and slaughtered Haku. Nay sensei. Spoke his voice hollow. I ripped him to shreds. I am what the villagers have said since I can remember. I am a monster. No. You're not Sarutobi said. Kakashi nodded his head and saw Sakura put a hand on Naruto's forearm. The pair shared a one-eyed look, and Naruto nodded. During the time since Sasuke's death, the pair had bonded as only survivors seem able to do, drawing on one another's strength. To do so, you're not a monster, Sasaki saw you as a friend, even if he never spoke it aloud. Sakura said softly. Serbi agreed, and he was surprised that Kakashi would speak about the Kyuubi so openly. Seeing the Hokage's concern, he spoke up. Naruto told her. He shook his head, remembering the emotion he heard from the blonde, remembering how expected Sakura to hate him, to rage against him. And instead, the pink-haired kunoichi grabbed her teammate in a bone-crushing hug and sobbed. Sorry, over and over until both passed out from sheer emotional rundown. Kakashi continued his report. Before we could recover, God showed up with 100 mercenaries and samurai. During the battle, both Sakura and Na became wounded, each of them losing an eye at some point. He looked at the Hokage. I did the only thing I could to save my team at that time as they were both laying there bleeding out. I took Sasuke's newly acquired sharing eyes and transplanted them one into each. Serbi let out a breath. The council is going to have a fit. He thought, not to mention the mission failure, but what will they do now that Naruto possesses the Sharingan? What will happen to us now, Lord Hokage? Sakura asked. He nearly missed her question as his voice was low, her head bowed. He sighed. It depends on the three of you. He finally said, the two of you can return to the academy to be recycled onto new teams with the next graduating class. He saw the look in their single eyes and knew they didn't want that. You can continue on as a two-person cell until a third teammate can be found. He looked at Kakashi, or you can retire from the life of ninjas. Those are your options. Naruto and Sakura exchanged glances. I'll give you a week to decide. Take that time to mourn and heal up. The pair nodded. Dismissed, Serbi said, and he watched sadly as Naruto shuffled from the room, Sakura behind him. Kakashi paused. Lord Hokage. He started coming to attention. Yes, Kakashi. I request that should they opt to remain ninja and a team, I ask that I be allowed to take them on an extended training trip. I need to show them how to use their new eyes, and I need to make amends for the mistakes I made in regards to both of them, and I don't think they'll be able to heal here in Konoha. Why? Serbi had an idea, but he wanted to hear Kakashi's reasoning. The villagers hate Naruto, and once it gets out Sasuke died protecting him. He trailed off. I don't think it will be good for his mental health and by extension Sakura's. Since Sasuke's death, he's been the only thing keeping her sane. On the bridge, she snapped. She tore into the mercenaries without caution. She lost her eye during that. And when God taunted about Sasuke, there was no emotion on her face when she slit that man's throat. When she saw Naruto go down, Kakashi's lone eye closed. I thought she was going to go catatonic until he pulled the crossbow bolt from his eye. She was at his side, screaming for him not to leave her, too. Sarobi nodded at this. Regardless of the decision, I want him to spend time with Anashi Yamanaka. After he evaluates them and helps them deal with the trauma, I give you permission to take them out of the village. Kakashi nodded. Thank you, Lord Hokage. Kakashi left. It was only after a few moments that he noticed that Kakashi had not once pulled his book out to read. Naruto stopped. You're home, Sakura, he said, his voice hollow. He went to move, but Sakura had yet to release his hand. Don't go. Come in, she said. Na shook his head. No, your mother. He remembered the elder Haruno woman who worked at the library, how she kept kicking him out and calling Andu on him. Please, Sakura said. Na swallowed and nodded. The pair had walked from the Hoage Tower and many people were talking about the headbands covering their eye. Sakura had heard the whispers about Na. Was I so shallow not to notice the pain he was in? Na followed her in and she sat on the living room couch. Na sitting silently next to her. What are we going to do? She asked after 10 minutes of silence. Before the blonde next to her could say anything, she heard the front door slide open. Sakura, are you home in here? Mom, she answered, her hand gripping Naruto's in a plea for him to stay no matter what was said. Ira down at the market said she saw you come you. She yelled seeing Naruto in her living room. Kakashi sat at the ninja-only bar the straight edge and sipped his sake. He had come straight here after making his report and ordered a bottle. His whole posture screamed out failure. I failed Obito and I failed Sasaki. I can't fail Naruto and Sakura again. They're at their breaking point right now. He looked at the bottle before him and at the saucer before pouring the alcohol back into the bottle. The ninja in the bar watched as he stood up and strode from the bar, the rumors already spreading about the loss of Th. Uchiha. Mom, Sakura said, putting herself between her mother and her sole remaining teammate. Get out of my house, demon. Sakura's mom yelled and threw a vase at him. Sakura smacked it out of the air and glared at her mother. He's not a demon. He's my teammate and friend. Sakura dear, you don't know what you're saying. Her mother said, I know about the Kyobi mother. Na isn't the Kyobi. The Kyobi wouldn't have cared about Sasaki dying. A demon or monster wouldn't have cared about me being hurt. Sakura kept a hold of Naruto's arm as she kept herself between her mother and Na. You've brainwashed my daughter. He's done no such thing. Sakura fired back. Mom, please. I need you to understand. We're both hurt. We just lost our teammate. I need my mother to accept me and to accept my friend. Kimura Haruno looked at her daughter. She noticed both teens had an eye covered. She didn't think her daughter had been hurt. You did this, you monster. You hurt my baby girl. Kimura hissed at Na. He did not. It was bandits and mercenaries. Sakura said, Na fought his hardest to keep me safe. He took a crossbow bolt meant for me and lost his eyes saving me. Kimura looked at her daughter. And you lost your eye. How? Sakura closed her green eye. I'd been incensed when Sasaki died. She felt Na tense but kept her grip on his arm. God taunted me about his and Naruto's death. I went crazy and a merc slipped past my defenses and stabbed me in my eye with a dagger. I kept going. I killed God. I slit a man's throat. Mother. She felt tears slip from her regular eye. The sharing one still too new to be connected to her tear ducts properly. If you think Naruto is a monster, then I am too because I killed those men. I slashed their throats. I stabbed them over and over again. She turned and buried her face into Naruto's shoulder. The blonde held her. Na is the only thing keeping me sane. And if you kick him out, mother, I'm going with him because he's that important to me. Kimura Haruno looked at her shattered, broken daughter, then at the blonde boy who was gently holding her, whispering softly to her, trying to soothe her. For the first time ever, Kimura looked at the blonde boy really looked at him. She didn't see the fox that had killed her husband, but a hurt young boy hurt more than her daughter, comforting Sakura, trying to be her pillar of strength, even as he looked ready to shatter into a million pieces himself. Swallowing the lump in her throat, she spoke. Naruto was it, she said, her own voice hesitant. He nodded slowly while still soothing Sakura. Why don't you both sit down? I'll make some tea and get you both something to eat. You both look like you haven't eaten in days. He nodded, his voice hollow. Nothing more than broth. Neither of us have been hungry, Mrs. Haruno. She didn't flinch at the defeated tone his voice held. She watched as the boy got her daughter to sit on the couch, and she saw her daughter keeping a grip on his arm. My poor baby. And I just added to your pain, she thought as she went to the kitchen. She would accept the boy for Sokka's sake. She put a pot on the stove and went to make a chicken broth as well. She turned when she heard the front door open and close. Peering from the kitchen, she saw the two still on the couch, but they were joined by a white-haired man who, like the two children, had one eye covered. That's their sensei, Hitaki. I remember Sakura telling me about him. Hello, she said. Kakashi turned from where he was sitting across from the pair. Forgive my intrusion, but I needed to speak with my students. Haven't you done enough? Kimura asked. Kakashi actually winced. It's okay, Mom, Sakura said, her voice sounding tired. What were you saying, Kakashi-sensei? He turned back to his students. I know we just returned, but I spoke with the Hokage and you both are coming with me. We're heading back out to a special training ground my family owns a mile out of Konoha. I've spoken with Inanoiki Yamanaka and he's going to be helping you both with the death of Sasaki and the lives we took that day. He's also going to help you Na with everything you've been through. Why? Na asked, his voice dead. What's it matter? I'm the demon. No. Sakura yelled and grabbed his chin, forcing him to look at her. You're not the Kyobi. You're Naruto Uzumaki. You might not be the greatest ninja from the academy, but someday you will be Hokage. She said. Kimura saw her daughter's lone eye, the sudden steel behind her gaze. I've only seen her like that when it's important to her. Who are you, Naruto Uzumaki, that has snared my daughter into your life? Say it, Na, you are not the Kyobi. Everyone who thinks you are nothing but idiots. Sakura Aiken, he said softly. Say it, Na, you are not the Kyobi. Her lone green eye was watering again. She's right, Na, Kakashi said. He stood and, crouching before the pair on the couch, put a hand on each one's shoulder. Well, get through this, he said. What if I can't? Na asked. What if they don't let me? We'll deal. Remember, we're a team. Those who break the rules are trash. Naruto's lone eye met his sensei. But those who abandon their friends and teammates are worse than trash. Sakura nodded. We aren't splitting up nor going back to the academy. She shared a look. Do we quit? She asked. Naruto's I met hers. It would be easy to walk away, he said, his voice cracking. Sakura nodded. It would, but we don't do easy, do we? Na nodded. Then we go with Kakashi sensei and we get better. Sakura said, we heal and we do our best to make Sasuke proud of us. Kimura watched her daughter and the boy who nodded more than 10 minutes ago she thought of as a demon. She watched as they drew strength from one another and comfort from their sensei. Sleep tonight well, get started tomorrow, Kakashi said, XX. Kimura watched the Jonin leave and went back to the kitchen. She came back out with tea to find both teens asleep against one another. Her first reaction was to pull her daughter away. She squashed it down and went and got a blanket and covered them. Treat my daughter well, Naruto Uzumaki. You hold her shattered and broken heart in your hands. Sunlight woke the sleeping pair. Sakura stirred first, and as her lone green eye focused on her teammate, she felt peace knowing that Naruto was there for her. She studied his face, and while he had some of the usual baby fat, she knew he'd be handsome once he grew into his skin. She studied his features and she wouldn't admit it before, but she always found the whisker marks on his cheeks exotic marks he got from the fox. She thought, her hand ghosting over the whiskers, and Naruto made a sound like a purr and leaned into her touch. She pulled her hand back quickly, not wanting to wake him yet. She wasn't sure what she was feeling for her remaining teammate, but she knew that no one was going to take him from her. She'd vowed that over Sasuke's grave. She looked at his eyelashes. They were long and she saw his bangs of sun-kissed blonde hair hanging over his face. His hitty covering his newly acquired Sharingan eye. Those bastards marred his beautiful blue eyes. She thought, ignoring her inner self's call, that she thought his eyes were beautiful. Sometime during the night, they had stretched out on the sofa, and Sakura found that she liked the feeling. Her left hand was gripping his shirt, and once more, her right hand found its way towards his face, and she brushed his bangs aside, her hand once more ghosting over his whiskers, causing Naruto to purr. Good morning, dear. It took all her willpower not to jump as she looked over her shoulder and saw her mother standing there, an unreadable look on her face. Morning, mother, she said, her voice still sleep-filled. Sakura was careful sitting up. She still felt weird with only one eye showing, but she got to her feet and recovered now. Heading to the kitchen, she sighed. I just hope she doesn't get too loud. The pink-haired Kunoichi thought. XX Kimura Haruno had been up before the sun watching over the pair. During the night, they had stretched out and her daughter was on top of the demon container. She still felt odd seeing him in her house, but she was cutting off her impulse for her daughter's sake. After Sakura left the room, she studied the blonde asleep on her couch. He's the fox. He killed all those people. He's going to bring nothing but pain and death to my daughter. She went to the kitchen and came back with a large knife. She made sure Sakura was in the shower before standing over the boy. I do this for you, Sakura, she thought, raising the knife. Naruto rolled over onto his side. I'm sorry, Sakura-chan, he mumbled. Kimura froze as a lone tear slipped from the boy's closed eye. I'm sorry I couldn't save Sasuke for you, he continued to mutter in his sleep. I couldn't save the one you love. Kimura was getting a bad feeling as she lowered the knife to her side. I should have died in his place. Kimura backed up. That doesn't sound like a demon, does it, Haruno-san? She jumped and spun seeing Kakashi in her living room, a sad look on his face. I was older when I lost my first teammate, the man said as he moved to put himself between her and Na. Obito, Kakashi said. He was so unlike the rest of his family. Naruto's like him. Loud. A prankster, but a heart of gold. Kakashi looked at her. I won't let you harm him, Haruno-san. And know this, you hurt him, you lose your daughter. He is the only thing keeping her sane right now. Kimura remembered the words last night, and she slipped the knife into a pocket of her robe just in time as she heard Sakura coming down the stairs. Oh, Kakashi-sensei, you're early. The pink-haired teen said. I came to get Na. I was going to take him to get supplies for the journey. Sakura understood. She knew their sensei was going to get Naruto clothes and supplies, and he was going to stomp down anyone trying to sell him junk or mistreat him. While we're gone, get your own gear together and say goodbye to your mother. Sakura nodded, but instead of going to her room right away, she went and knelt before the couch. Kimura watched as she reached out and stroked the blonde boy's cheek, her fingers tracing the whisker marks. "Nah," Sakura said. He grunted. "Come on, nah, it's time to wake up," she said gently. Kimura watched as the blonde yawned and stretched, his uncovered eye opened slowly. "Morning, Sakura-chan," he mumbled. "Morning, Sakura," said. "Kakashi-sensei is here to take you to get new gear," she said, her fingers continuing to stroke the marks on her teammate's face. He blinked, then nodded. "Okay," he said softly. He then reached up and took her hand. "Did you sleep okay?" he asked. Kimura watched as the two talked. They seemed so comfortable with one another. Sakura nodded. "You kept the night terrors away," she said softly. "Go grab a shower. I think you have some clean clothes in your pack that weren't wrecked." Na nodded and sat up with a bone-cracking stretch. He then stood with a fluid grace. "Where?" he asked. "Up the stairs to the right." "I'll get your pack," Sakura said. Kimura watched the blonde go. "Sakura hadn't moved yet, mother," she said. "Yes, dear." Kimura Haruno said, "You ever think of taking a knife to my teammate again, mother or not, I will break your arm." The pink-haired teen said, and she grabbed a battered pack, went up the stairs. Kimura was shocked. How since Sasaki died, the two of them have become hyper-aware of all that goes on around the other. "If I hadn't been here, she would have been down the stairs and you'd be on the ground before the knife made it to him." "What do you mean?" Kimura asked, turning to the one-eyed man. "While we were recovering in Wave, an old man tried to come close to Naruto while he was unconscious. He had been scaling fish and had a knife in his hand when the boy had a nightmare. He was just going to check on him and his hand got close and Sakura appeared and knocked him back. The same happened a day later. Kakashi looked up the stairs, listening to the shower. A tragedy brought them so close that I pity the person that tries to separate them or harm one or the other. His lone eye locked on her, and I will do all I can to ensure that they don't meet the same fate as their teammate. I failed them before. I will die before I do so again." Sakura came back down and glanced at her mother before looking at her sensei. "Kakashi-sensei, can you get me some new tags and can I while you and Naruto are out?" "I'm nearly out." "Sure thing. Anything else?" he asked. "I know you like the whole headband covering half your face, but can you get me an eye patch, please?" He nodded and was surprised she hadn't asked about it earlier. "I will find one that's adjustable. Is basic black okay, or should I find a specific color?" Sakura shrugged. It was then Kimura finally realized this incident had changed her daughter. "Basic black is fine," she said. Kakashi nodded. They heard the shower shut off and Sakura excused herself to go back to packing. Na allowed the shower to beat down on him. The hot water felt wonderful. "You have no right to enjoy a hot shower, Dobi. You let me die." "No," Na whispered. "I tried to save you. I just wasn't strong enough. Dead last. You should be the one dead. You stole my eye. You stole Sakura." The mental voice of Sasaki Uchi ripped into him. Naruto flinched and leaned back. "No, that's not true," he whispered. "It is Dobi. I'm dead because you were too damn weak." Na felt tears slip from his eye. He was keeping the sharing one closed. He finished washing without hearing his dead teammate's voice in his head and dried himself with a towel. He looked at the mirror and closed his eye before opening both of them. The sharing blazed to life. He discovered he felt no drain like Kakashi and Sakura experienced but said nothing to either. Wrapping the towel around his waist, he froze hearing a knock. "Na." Sakura's voice came from the door. "In here, Sakura," he answered. The door opened and a hand held a bundle of clothes. "I brought you some clothes. Kakashi-sensei is waiting." He took the clothes. The slender hand hesitated. "Na." He said nothing as the door opened and Sakura slipped in and hugged him. Naruto's empty hand went around her. "I'm sorry," she repeated over and over. "For what, Sakura?" "My mother. My own stupidity. The villagers," she said and leaned her head against his shoulder. "You have nothing to apologize for, Sakura." He said, "Yes, I do." She looked up at him, her green eye meeting his. She pulled her headband back and both their eyes connected. "I hurt you so much over the years, and you always forgave me. If I was stronger on the bridge, Sasaki would be alive and you wouldn't have been badly hurt. Sasaki was my fault, Sakura-chan," he said. "I wasn't good enough and he took those sunburn for me. I did nothing, Naruto. I let the client die. Sakura hugged him, her eyes closed. You and Sasuke were so strong, and all I did was make fun of you and insult you. You were the strong one, nah. You've had to deal with the stupidity of the village all by yourself. Well, no more. You're precious to me, nah. You're my teammate, and I won't let anyone, including my own mother, treat you like that again. Na swallowed the lump in his throat. Since the failure in Wave, Sakura had picked apart his life and now knew everything about him. Sakura-chan, no, you're a great ninja, you know, she said into his neck as she continued to hold him. I'm not as good as you or Sasaki, he said, feeling her against him. Me. Sakura scoffed. I'm book smart and clever in controlled conditions. There are more important things. Friendship, loyalty, and she sobbed. I'm scared, nah, I can't lose you. Na held her. You won't, Sakura-chan. He said softly before pulling back. I'll be around until you no longer wish me around. Forever then, she said. Na smiled. No. Unless you want to see my scrawny butt, I need to get dressed. Sakura smiled. I don't know, and it's not that scrawny, she said with an impish grin. She slipped from the door, pulling her headband back to cover her sharing. Na put his own on after he was dressed. Was Sakura-chan flirting with me? He pondered before going down to meet his sensei. He could hear Sakura in her room at the end of the hall packing. Naruto followed Kakashi from the Haruno's place. They stopped at a ninja store. Naruto hesitated until Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder. They entered the store. The unspoken, I won't let anything to happen to you, from Kakashi helped. Shopping wasn't bad when Kakashi was there to make sure he didn't get overcharged or sold defective merchandise. The first store they entered wasn't a problem. It was the second one. The clerk saw the blonde enter and threw a knife at him. Kakashi knocked it aside and was in the man's face before he could even blink. Akanai held at the clerk's throat. Na couldn't hear what was said, but Kakashi told him to get what he wanted and needed. Shrugging, the blonde did as he was told. Kakashi was worried. Na was still quiet. He didn't complain about anything. And what worried the Jonin most was Na had avoided ramen since the battle where everything had gone wrong. Fully stocked now with new clothes, which barely had any orange, new shuriken, kanai, scrolls, tags, and a chain and sickle. They were walking the streets when Naruto finally spoke. Kakashi-sensei, yes, Naruto, is something wrong? He asked. He hadn't touched his Ika book since that day, but he found he didn't miss it. How could I? I lost a student and my remaining ones were traumatized and badly wounded due to my failure as a sensei. Do have Na paused. Say what you want, even if it sounds wrong, Na. I'll answer as best I can, Kakashi said. The blonde nodded and took several breaths. When you got your, do you ever hear your teammate's voice in your head? Kakashi stopped and put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. It's not real, Na. It's your subconsciousnness beating you up. Na looked down. Kakashi made sure the storage scrolls were secure before he shushined himself and Na away from the busy streets. The reappeared at the memorial stone. When Obito died, I still blame myself. When Ren transplanted his eye on his dying request, I felt even worse. I drove everyone away from me. My friends, Ren, Kakashi sighed. Guy was the only one who put up with my attitudes and anger and self-loathing. Kakashi looked at the stone and found Obito's name with a long-practiced ease. I let it rule me until recently. Why did you find peace? Na asked. Kakashi shook his head. I came to an understanding. I was so focused on the dead, I allowed you, my students, to come to harm, trying to keep a promise I had no right making to a dead teammate. Na looked at the stone. He found Obito's name, and he looked at the last spot. In a few days, Sasuke's name is going to be added there. He thought, sadly, I realized I should have trained you and Sakura and Sasaki properly. I allowed my price and ego to rule me, and it cost the three of you dearly. Na shook his head, but Kakashi cut him off from protesting. I did. I failed you the most, Na. I knew how you were trained in the academy, and instead of helping you fix it, I abandoned you. I am worse than trash. Na looked at his sensei. No, Kakashi-sensei. Yes, Na. If I was a teacher, I would have trained you properly. I would have forced Sasaki to work on his teamwork. He looked at the memorial stone. I should have done what Manado-sensei did to our team. Who? What did he do? Naruto's lone blue eye looked up at him. Manado Namikaze was my sensei. The name didn't draw any recognition and Kakashi decided he'd talk to the Hokage first, but he was going to tell Naruto about his father. And our team was similar in so many ways to Team 7. Sasaki was like me. You were like Obito, and Sakura and Ren are so similar. It's scary. We had the same errors and fights amongst ourselves. Unlike my sensei, I did nothing to stop them. Manado-sensei, however, refused to let anything like that happen. He would use a chain jutsu and bind us together. Let me tell you, nothing promotes teamwork like being shackled to another person 24 hours a day. It took us a month to start working together on things without fighting. Before Manado-sensei removed the chakra bonds. Na looked at his sensei, who had a faraway look in his lone eye. Obito and I fought, but it was more of a brotherly sniping at one another by this time. He looked at Na. I saw something like that between you and Sasaki. The two of you worked together quicker on things than Obito and I did. Kakashi chuckled, but then you'd both fall back and I assumed it was just I'm not sure and I know I'm off of what we were talking about. He put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. You might hear his voice, but it's not real. It's your mind remembering him by creating a voice that would snipe at you like he would. My voice blames me. I hear him saying, it's my fault he's dead. I stole his eye. I stole Sakura. I'm a failure and should be the one dead. Tears slipped down Naruto's cheek and Kakashi held him as he cried. It's a lie, Na. You didn't steal his eye. It's not your fault he died and you didn't steal Sakura. He held the blonde boy as he broke down before the memorial stone. Manado-sensei, help me help your son. I've failed him so badly. He's breaking under the burden, and I don't know what to do. XX. Sakura ignored her mother as she went through her clothes and tossed most of them aside. Dresses were so foolish now. She packed battle dresses and shorts, bandages, and what weapons she could. She ignored her cosmetics as she packed scrolls. Sakura, honey, Kimura began. Don't, Sakura said, not turning around. Her lone green eye was hard as she focused on her task. Don't try and justify it, mother. That boy, his name is Na, Sakura said, turning around. He is my teammate and my friend. Don't you dare demean him by calling him demon or the Kayabi. He's a boy my age, and he's hurt as much as if not more than I am. For you to raise a hand or weapon against him after I thought I could trust you last night. Sakura, please give up being a ninja. You already are badly hurt. You lost your eye. Kimura said, I lost my eye. So did Na. He's lost everything in his life. He lives alone in a ratty apartment. He's charged triple for food. Most of the time it's spoiled. He's sold substandard equipment. He was ignored at the academy. His papers and grades sabotaged. Don't you dare try to trivialize him. Sakura roared. Don't you dare. Sakura said, breathing hard, her emotions near the breaking point. He's all I've got left and I won't let anyone harm him anymore. I meant what I said downstairs. Mother, I would break your arm if you would raise it against him. Kimura Haruno stepped back. If you can't deal with my being around Na, I will find somewhere else to live when we come back. No. Na is important to me. I am not abandoning him, mother. Years ago, I destroyed my friendship with Ino over Sasaki. I've regretted that ever since. Do you know how much of a __ I was? Ino and I would snipe at one another constantly. I miss her as my friend. And I broke that because of what I thought other people thought. Her hand pulled a ribbon off her dresser and she held it up. This is all I have of my friendship with Ino. She lifted her headband to reveal the single marked sharing. And this is all I have of Sasaki. He was cold. He was selfish. But he was my teammate. And in his own way, he cared for both Naruto and I. I was an idiot and a fangirl. He didn't need that. He needed a friend more than anything. She pulled her headband down. She still didn't have chakra reserves for long exposure, and her eye contact with Naruto earlier had drained her a bit, but that was something she didn't regret. It helped soothe him for a moment. She couldn't explain it, but since Wave, she'd felt his emotions. Right now. She could feel his turmoil and sadness, but she knew Kakashi-sensei was with him and was dealing with it. She looked at her mother. You need to act like the adult you are and drop this stupidity that the village has developed about Naruto being the Kayabi. He's a scared and injured boy that's never had anyone. Sakura turned her back and went back to packing. No, if you don't mind, I need to finish packing. Komura Haruno stepped back, tears in her eyes at the coldness in her daughter's voice towards her. Oh, sweetie, XX. Na sat looking at the memorial stone. Sensei. Yes, Na, Kakashi said sitting next to him. Will you help me and Sakura finish Sasuke's ambition for him? Na asked. Kakashi swallowed. Kill Itachi. Na nodded. It will be sometime before you're both ready and you can't go after him until I say you are. Kakashi said. Na nodded again. Sensei. Yes. Kakashi said. I think the Kaobus messed with my eye. He said. What do you mean? Kakashi asked, looking at his blonde student. I don't feel a drain on my chakra with it. Na admitted. Except for the first few days, I've had no trouble with it other than I can't shut it off. Kakashi sighed. I'm not sure what to say, Na. The fox altering it like that could be its own way of protecting you. Na scowled. I wish there was a way to remove the damn fox from me. It was low, but Kakashi heard it. He put a hand on his student's shoulder. We can't change it, but we can make it work for you. He said they'd been there for an hour now. Naruto's stomach made a loud rumble sound, and Kakashi smiled. We should eat. Na sighed. I don't know if I can. You need to eat, Na. Both you and Sakura need it. Kakashi said. He didn't mention his own lack of appetite since Sasuke's death. Come on, we'll get Sakura. And after we've eaten, we'll see the Hokage. I'll even treat you to ramen. No response. Na. Can we have smoked fish instead? Na said. Smoked fish. That was the sure Na. Kakashi said standing, and the pair walked from the memorial. The John and remembering the last meal his team had shared together before the disaster in Wave XX. Sakura accepted the eye patch and slipped it on, tying her headband back over her hair. She slipped the scroll. Kakashi handed her in her pack. She didn't say goodbye to her mother, who was in the kitchen as they left. They'd eaten in silence at the restaurant. The food was slow in consumption and talk was barely existent. They were leaving when they ran into Team 10 forehead. Ino said. Sakura nodded but remained quiet. What's with the patch? I was injured on our last mission. Sakura said softly. Looking around, Ino spoke again. Where's Sasake, __, didn't he want to eat with losers like you? Ino Asuma said he'd heard what happened but had yet to inform his team. Looking at it now, he smacked himself for not doing so as Sakura teared up and turned. Na caught her as she buried her head against his shoulder and sobbed. What gives? Ino asked. Kakashi answered. Sasake Uchiha died on our last mission. Team 10 looked shocked. Ino looked lost. She looked at Sakura, who was holding on to Naruto as a lifeline. 4. Sakura. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Her own tears welled up. Naruto's lone blue eyes blazed at her. No, you didn't. But all you can do is snipe. You see her hurt, and you go to say the most hurtful thing you can. He spoke softly to Sakura, his hand rubbing up and down her back. I didn't. She looked at Asuma and Shikamaru for help. Shikamaru put a hand on her shoulder and shook his head. Kakashi, I'm sorry for your team's loss. Asuma said. What are you going to do now? Kakashi put a hand on Sakura's and Naruto's shoulders. I'm taking them to my family's place outside of town. We all need time to grieve and heal. Shikamaru noticed the eye patch in Naruto's own headband like his sensei's. What's with the eye coverings? Kakashi closed his eye. Both Naruto and Sakura were badly wounded and lost an eye. Ayama did a field procedure and took Sasuke's eyes and placed them in the destroyed sockets. Ino looked at the eye patch covering her rival's eye. You have Sasuke's eyes. Asuma put it together. He got his sharing. Kakashi nodded. I wasn't going to lose my remaining students. I did what was for the best. For the best? Ino demanded. You stole his eyes. Kakashi looked at the blonde. I'll forgive your assumptions as you don't understand what's happened. Bull, Ino Asuma said, cutting her off. She looked at him. If Kakashi hadn't done what he did, they very well could have died depending how deep the wounds were. He saved the sharing for Konoha and he brought his students back. All but Sasuke, the blonde snarled. Naruto looked at her and took Sakura away. Get back here, Ino demanded. Kakashi looked at Asuma. Speak to you later. We need to see the Hokage. Team 7 walked away. Ino fumed. I bet that Bakken Naruto was responsible. She snarked. He probably messed up and Sasuke had to save him. That is enough. Asuma said, I know the mission report. The client lied about the mission. It went from C rank escort to an A rank possible S rank mission. The fact Kakashi brought back any of his students alive means something. Why couldn't he bring back Sasuke and not the dead last and forehead? They slap. Ino's cheek erupted in pain and she looked in shock at Shikamaru as he lowered his hand after slapping her. Don't be such a shallow, Ino. Can't you see how much pain they're in? Choji nodded. Naruto was a somewhat friend, and the pain he'd seen in the blonde's eye when Sasuke was mentioned meant that Team 7 was crumbling apart at the seams. Even Choji could see that. Asuma nodded. Team meeting is cancelled. Go home. If you want to talk about this, come see me. Do not verbally attack them. He looked at Ino. He'd seen the look in both Kakashi and Naruto's eyes. He wondered for a moment if he'd have survived the attack, but both walked away, managing to keep their temper. Talk to your parents as well. Asuma said, we'll talk about this as a group as well later. This is the first loss for those in your age group. Asuma watched his students go. He was saddened how Ino acted. He'd seen the pain in the remaining team and sent a prayer to Kami to help them pull through this. XX, I didn't expect you back so soon. The Hokage admitted, we talked about it, Lord Hokage, and I'm taking them to my family's home as I talked with you about last night. I've also asked Inoki to come out and talk with them both separately and together. Saratobi looked at the two teens that were sitting on the sofa off to the side. They'd shown up and Sakura looked shattered and Kakashi told him of the running into Team 10. That's why they can't stay here right now. They need to heal. Serbi nodded about the Chunin exams in 3 months. If they're even in any kind of condition, I'd say as a two-person cell, I don't think a third teammate at this time would be beneficial to their mental state. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I need to help them mentally and how to learn their new eyes. Kakashi revealed Naruto's admittance of Kyuubi meddling. Sakura looked up at the blonde as he ran a hand up and down her back. He looked at her sadly and nodded, neither saying a word, allowing Kakashi to speak for them. The day was half over, and it was already so draining on them both emotionally. Saratobi pulled out a sheet of paper and wrote out a pass for Team 7. Take care of them, Kakashi, he said softly. Kakashi nodded, taking the travel papers and bowed. I won't fail them this time. I swear on my life. Your family owns this? Sakura asked as they stood outside what looked to be a former hotel. Yeah. I turned it into a private training ground when I was 19. Kakashi said, it's clean. I pay a service to maintain it. He told them, unlocking the door. There's a hot ring out back. It's so you'll have to share or take turns. Neither teen said anything. The training ground is the forest and the mountain. There's a weight room and dojo in the basement. He told them. He gave them the tour. The kitchen and dining area, the library, and the second floor with the rooms. Pick what you want. I'm taking this one. It's the one I've used since I came here. He said, going to the end of the hall. Na took one to the left of the stairs. Sakura hesitated and walked in with him. He looked at her, then nodded as he went and got another set of pillows and blankets from another room. Sakura put her scrolls down on top of a desk. Every time I sleep without Na, the dreams come. Last night was peaceful. I don't want to be a burden. But she turned hearing him come in. Na, yes. So Sakura-chan, he said. She noticed his voice was still rough. I'm sorry for being a burden. She was pulled into a hug. You're not a burden, Sakura-kan. If anyone here is, it's me. No. You're a great ninja. No. I'm not. I'm a loser. The dobi the dead last. I can't perform jutsus worth a damn. And the one jutsu I can use. It's a joke. Sakura held him tight. No. Your cage bunch is awesome. Naruto, it's a Jonin level technique and not many people can perform it like you do. As a joke, you saw Zabuza. He tore them apart like nothing. Hell, Kakashi sensei doesn't even take his eyes off his book. Sakura didn't know what to say. His confidence in himself is shot. No. It's totally destroyed. Kami, what do I do? I'll try to do better soccer. Aiken, I'll try and become stronger. But Naruto pulled back. When you can, you should find a better team to be on. One that can truly appreciate your skills. Stop it, Sakura-chan. No. Stop putting yourself down. You're my teammate. I don't want another team. She hugged him. Damn it, nah. We lost Sasake. I can't lose you too. I just can't. Naruto hugged her. I'm sorry, Sakura-chan. I'm sorry I'm such a failure. He whispered into her hair as she began to cry into his chest. Neither noticed the shadowed form of Kakashi step away from the door. Manado-sensei, help me. They are broken so badly. I don't know what to do. I thought the way I handled them was the right way. And now every action I took seems to have added to the burden. Kakashi slipped into his room and sank onto a chair. I should have praised Naruto for learning the Kage Bunkan. I should have helped him master it. Kami knows he's got the chakra reserves for it. Instead, I let him flounder. Kakashi put his face in his hands. I up so much. I don't know how to fix this. He looked at the clock. Eneki will be here soon to start their sessions. I'll work out a training schedule. Manado-sensei, give me a sign, something to help your son. There was none. And alone, Jonan, for the first time in his career, didn't know how to make it right. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, Enino Yamanaka was not in the best of moods as she entered her family's flower shop. The nerve, she raged. Her mother came out of the back wiping her hands on a rag. Ino dear, you're back early. Something the matter, dear? Shikamaru hit me, Ino said in a tone of disbelief. What? Why would Shikika do that? Ino told her mother everything. When she was done, her mother was looking at her with disappointment in her eyes. What? Ino asked. Ino honey, you were in the wrong. Did you even stop to think how Sakura and Naruto were feeling? What they are feeling? It's their fault Sasuke-kun's dead. Ino said stop it. Both Ino and her mother turned to see Enonoi coming out of his office. Going somewhere, dear? Ino's mother asked. Yeah. Kakashi's asked me to help his students over the psychological trauma. He said holding up a bag. I'll be back when I can, but I'm coming with you, Ino said standing. I don't think so, princess. Eneki said. You need to think long and hard about your actions and how they have added to the harm done to Sakura and Naruto. He kissed his wife. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be going back and forth after this, but I think tonight and tomorrow will be long sessions. His wife nodded and watched him leave while Ino pouted. I know it's their fault. She continued and crossed her arms and pouted. XX somewhere dark, bleak, and hopeless. My lord, I have news. What is it? A shadowed figure said. A report from your spy in Konoha. The uchiha is dead. What? He died on a recent mission that went from C rank to higher rank, possibly S rank. Damn. Did they recover the body? No, master. Reports indicate that it was destroyed by Kakashi Hatake to keep the secret of the Sharingan from being discovered. All my plans wasted. The figure on the throne hissed like an angry serpent. Kakashi Hatake possesses the Sharing. My lord, he's too old and I cannot bend him to my will. It's like Itachi all over again. About the invasion, my lord. Silence. Continue the plan. If I can't have the Sharing, we will at least know that in several months' time the village hidden in the leaf will burn. No. Leave and send for our spy Insuna as you command Lord Orochimaru. The kneeling figure says and leaves with a shushan. XX Haki house. Sakura sat in the living room trying to read. Enonoi had taken Naruto into the den and had been in there for several hours. Sha, why can't we do this together? She thought, tossing the magazine aside. She couldn't focus on it and right now didn't care about fashion or makeup tips. Her eyes went to the sealed door again and she sighed. Sakura, it's okay. You'll have your turn soon enough, and when Enonoi decides you're both far enough, you'll be talking in Oint sessions. Kakashi said she'd forgotten he was there. I know, sensei, she said softly. How about we work on those meditation exercises in order for you to learn how to control your new eye? Wouldn't it be better to wait for Na? She asked. No, because I will be doing the same with him while you were with Inoiki. Kakashi said, I also plan on working with you together. Sakura huffed. Fine. She followed him outside to the garden where there were benches, a water fountain, and hedges. Now then, we shall begin with the breathing. I know how to breath. Sakura interrupted. Sigh. Sakura, please. I know you think I'm a terrible sensei. I'm trying to fix my past mistakes. And before we can move on, you and Na need to learn about your new eyes. The pink-haired teen sighed. Sakura, if you don't learn this, you and Naruto can die from it. I nearly did when I got mine. It took Manado, my sensei, to get my head on right. She sighed. Sensei. She paused, then continued with, Naruto thinks he's a failure. He's not, but with everything. I know, Sakura. I'm going to try and fix his self-esteem up, but you're going to have to help. He sighed. Both of you are so damaged mentally and emotionally and physically. Your training, I failed as a sensei. I played favorites. If my sensei was alive, he'd kick my and use his Ringan mixed with 1,000 years of pain. He looked at her. Now, close your eyes. We need to center yourself. Calm your breathing. Find your core. But no buts. And for the next hour, Kakashi spoke with Sakura and helped her find her chakra pathways never taught in the academy. Naruto joined them for a time and then it was Sakura's turn with Inoiki. Inoiki sighed as he sealed the scrolls. One was marked Sakura Haruno, the other Naruto Uzumaki. He hated this. They're so young. Many ninja are lucky that they don't experience death until they're chunin with years under their belts. These two fresh from the academy. He closed his eyes and prayed Ino was luckier. Am I a bad person for being glad this wasn't my daughter that it happened to? He'd spoken hours with Na and had realized he would have to go further back with the blonde. When he'd entered his mind, he began working. Inoki wanted to weep at the psychological damage the boy had suffered over the years. All that and I barely got up to the academy years. He thought with a tired sigh. Sakura was as damaged most because she now realized her actions over the years and she was punishing herself. She's going to be around him. Kami, help us. If something happens to one or the other, we'll lose both of them then. He thought Kakashi asked coming in. Hey Kakashi, are they asleep? Between meditation and their session with you, they're exhausted. Kakashi sat across from him. How bad? Very. They're on the verge of breaking Kakashi. If they get separated or worse, if one of them is hurt or killed, the other will shut down mentally and eventually die as well. Kakashi closed his lone eye. They have a bond. Yes. And no, it's not from them each having a sharing eye. Tell me, when the mission went to, and they fought and were recovering, were they separated at all? No, Kakashi said. Anytime I tried to move one or the other, they would become restless and Sakura would have night terrors. Naruto would wake and stare blankly at the wall. He'd break out in a cold sweat. The only time they knew peace was around the other, and they're hyper-aware of the other, even at a distance. Inoki sighed. Somehow, some way they formed a life bond. I've never seen it like before Kakashi. The way it formed shouldn't have been possible. Do you think the Kyuubi did it as a way to save Na? The one-eyed Jonin asked. Why? Kakashi shrugged. It's awake. I know this much. It went out of its way to keep Na alive on the bridge. It's given him a healing factor that is scary. It's mutated his sharing. He keeps it covered because he's scared. Inoki looked at the tea on the desk that was long cold. I'm at a loss, Kakashi. I can only help them so much. Naruto has more trauma than any 10 fully trained ninjas that survived the war. And Sakura is so fragile. I'm not sure what might break her. Kakashi nodded. She threatened her own mother. What? Inoki looked up at that. When they woke, Sakura was upstairs showering and Kimura stood over Naruto holding a knife. Sakura had been ready to attack. She sensed the intent. After she came down and woke Naruto, she told her own mother she would have broken her arm. Inoki wished he had some sake. I read your own file, Kakashi, about after your teammate Obito died. This is similar but different on so many levels. I know, I'm the only one qualified to help them. And yet, it was through my own actions that this ever happened. I mind-walked Na. He told me, Kakashi said, what are you going to do, Kakashi? Train them. Help them as much as possible. Be there as I should have been. Kakashi closed his eye. I should have been there for Na growing up, but again, I failed. I won't do it again. Are you doing this out of guilt, Hatake? Inoki asked a bit. The loss of Sasaki was a kick in the balls I needed to pull my head out of my and for me to realize the failure I am as a sensei to those two upstairs. I'll do another session tomorrow. Are you going to keep them out here long? A month, maybe 2. Are you going to let any of their friends see them? Inoki asked. Kakashi's eyes hardened. After the way Ino reacted, I think not. Inoki sighed. I'll talk with her as well. Perhaps we could try in a month or so. Bring their fellow rookies together. I'll think about it, Kakashi said. XX. Upstairs, Sakura left the bed and snuggled against Naruto, who'd taken the floor. She'd listened as he tossed and turned and finally left the bed. And once she'd touched him, he calmed. Her lone green eye in the darkness studied him. Kami, why? Why does he have to hurt? Sakura calmed as Naruto's arm went around her in his sleep. Her tired mind quieted as she rested her head on his chest, his heartbeat lulling her to sleep. I'll be here for you always, Naruto. That's my promise of a lifetime. Sakura thought a sleep finally claimed her. 1 month later again, Kakashi said. Sakura groaned. I can't, she said, gasping as she tried to push herself off the ground. I'm too tired, sensei. Don't give me that, Sakura. Kakashi said. For the last month they had been training and Sakura's physical and chakra reserves were pushed to new limits. Sadly, whenever she used her sharing, she had a time limit of 3 minutes. Your reserves are pathetic. How did you even get out of the academy? Kakashi asked. Lots of book work. Sakura admitted. Kakashi sighed and looked at his watch. Naruto should be done with Inanoiki soon. Sensei, Sakura said as she finally reached her feet. How come Aoyoshihi hasn't said anything about the Kaiba? Kakashi sighed and handed Sakura the leaves as she balanced on a bamboo pole using her chakra on both. That's because Inoiki is in Naruto's mind while the seal is located in his belly near his core. The only way Inoiki would encounter the fox is if he went looking for him. He shook his head. A lot of the younger ninjas mistake that because Naruto holds the Kaiba, it would be in his mind and affect it's not the case. Now again, Sakura balanced the leaves on her forehead above her palms while balancing on one foot on a pole. I know I sound mean, Sakura, but you have come a long way in the last month. It's just you're nowhere near where you should be. I'm sorry, sensei, Sakura said, trying to keep focused on the task at hand. Well, Naruto's the opposite. He has limitless chakra, but because of the Kaiba, he has to fight for every shred of control. I should have worked with the two of you in the beginning. You're doing it now, she said. Kakashi for the last month had worked on chakra building exercises for Sakura and control exercises with Na. He also worked on physical training and then they would discuss the sharing. Na had no limit, but he still kept it covered just in case. Sakura's max was 3 minutes and then she'd sleep a day after. Kakashi looked back towards the house. He was concerned as Naruto's sessions with Inoiki lasted upwards of nearly 4 hours a day. Sakura and Naruto once a week would have a joint session. Inoiki told him it was confirmed. They were hyper aware of the other. There was a chakra connection between the two minds. It didn't share thoughts, but he did say it was empathic. A grunt and thud alerted him to the fact Sakura had fallen again. Okay, break, she grunted from where she landed. Bury me here, she muttered, nod, looking up. Kakashi reached down and pulled her to her feet. Go and eat and drink. Sakura was exhausted. She was physically spent. Staggering into the kitchen, she opened the fridge and smiled, seeing the sandwiches Naruto had made that morning. She grabbed 3 of them and a bottle of juice. Since living here, I've eaten more in a month than I have in the last 6 years. She thought as she bit into the beef sandwich. Kakashi had told her how dieting, while admirable, was slowly killing her. Chakra burned energy after all, and if there wasn't any, it would feed on the body's own resources. It had been Na who had gotten her to eat. He'd made pancakes with strawberries and whipped cream. Sakura had eaten 6 of them. So, it went that Naruto would make breakfast and pre-make lunch, and Kakashi would go to Konoha and bring back dinner while the pair of them cooled down from training and took showers. Sakura was nearly done with her second sandwich when she recalled her meeting with Inoiki earlier that day. Flashback. Do you think you've just exchanged feelings from one teammate to another? Inoiki asked. No, Sakura said with her arms crossed as he looked at Ino's father. Why are we talking about this? Aren't we supposed to talk about what happened in Wave? We have. You haven't had any nightmares for a while from what you said. Inoiki said. Sakura huffed. 'Cause Naruto keeps them away. She muttered under her breath. Inoiki heard her. Anyways, Kakashi has mentioned the two of you share a room that neither sleeps without the other around. So, Sakura, it's not healthy. What if the two of you get separated or put on separate missions? Sakura could say nothing. Look, I understand. I do. I know. When I came back after a brutal mission, I didn't let my wife out of my sight. I got so bad that she went to stay with her mother and took Ino with her until I could control myself. He shook his head. Starting tonight, I want you and Narut to sleep in separate rooms. He held up a hand, cutting off her protests every other night. You both need to separate a bit. We do things apart from one another. She muttered. Shower and some training. Kakashi told me what happened the other day, Inaki said, and Sakura frowned. Nothing happened. Sakura, you were tree walking when you fell. Narut, who was in here with me, vanished, and Kakashi said he shined under you and caught you. She shrugged. Sakura, this is for your own good. You'll need to be separated. If you don't start spending every other night apart, I will, with your sensei's permission, take steps. It's not healthy. End. Flashback. Sakura looked at the last sandwich and, not feeling hungry anymore, put it away. It's not fair. Why is this such a big deal? She sipped her juice. And I am so not substituting Naruto for Sasuke. He's all I have left. She looked out the window and saw Kakashi setting up the area again. I hate this. She thought. Naranoi began. I can't. It must be done. We need to talk with the fox to see what happened with your eye and if it's made any other alterations to your body. Narut sat across from the clan leader to the Yamanaka clan, his right knee bobbing up and down in a nervous fascio. I'm scared of what? Na looked at him like he was insane. Na, in the last month, we've worked through your childhood, and trust me, I've talked with the Hokage about the behavior of the ninja and villagers. What they've done to you won't matter. They'll keep doing it. Na interjected. The shop owners will continue to sell me defective merchandise at triple the price. The only time I've ever gotten a fair deal was with Kakashi Sensei, and he had to threaten the shop owner to get it. The blonde sighed. Can we do this another time? No, nah, we put it off last time and the time before that. Don't worry, I'll be there with you. I'll enter your mind like I have in other sessions and we'll make our way to the seal. Letting out a breath that only a teenager can do that makes it long suffering. Na nodded. Enaki put his hands on Naruto's temples and face. Relax, kiddo. He completed the mind meld jutsu. XX Naruto's mindscape. We really need to clean this place up, nah. It's brighter than before, but still, a sewer is not an ideal environment for a healthy mind. Enaki said. Na shrugged, but remained silent. Well, let's get going, Enanoi said as he put a hand on the younger blonde's shoulder and led him deeper. They traveled for minutes, hours, days, years. Time had no meaning here, and Enoiki wiped his brow as it got warmer the closer they got to the seal. They entered a massive chamber filled with puddles on the floor. At the far end was a massive gate that reminded Enoiki of the gates of Konoha, but instead of wood, they were bars. At the center of the cage was a seal rune. From the darkness beyond, they could hear breathing. Kalubi, Enoiki said. Na didn't move. This was his first time here, and he really didn't feel like getting any closer to the creature that had destroyed Konoha. Enaki, however, needed answers and stepped forward. Kaebi, he called out. For several moments, there was nothing. Then who dares waken the great and powerful Kaobi no Kitsun? A deep rumbling voice demanded from the shadows of the seal. Enanoi Yamanaka, I am here to speak with you. Yamanaka, I remember your clan. They thought to influence my mind when I entered the pathetic monkey sperm choker village. Their souls were delicious. Enaki, his head to the side. Pitiful. You insult and try to make me angry. So much for the great Kaebi. You sound like a spoiled child that got spanked and sent to its room without supper. The snarl and blast of chakra were the only thing that got past the seal. The paw that had tried to lash out hit a barrier, and a howl of pain as the Kaebi was shocked by the power of the seal. Damn you hellish ape. I will get free of this pathetic seal, and on that day I will kill you and your clan. Enaki shook his head. Save the threats, fox. The seal is powered by the Shinigami himself. The death god's power put you here. You won't be free. A deep growl told Enoiki that he'd hit a nerve. Are you here to torment me? No. As I said, I came to speak with you and see what influences you've had on Naro. My container. Use his name. He's suffered because he's your jail. Enaki warned. Faye, and whose fault is that, Humper? I'm in here. Enaki bowed his head at that. Come closer, boy. Let me have a real look at you now. The pair of slitted eyes looked out from the shadows. Narut shivered as he took several hesitant steps forward, stopping next to Enoiki. Scrawny, don't you eat boy ramen when I can afford it? The last month I've eaten better, Narut said defensively. Bah. Years of starvation. The eye is coming along nicely. So you did influence it? Enaki asked his and his chosen mates. The boy was near death. I had to send chakra out to fix it. The new eye was causing interference, so I sent out more chakra. It had some effects unforeseen. You influenced Sakura's as well? Enanoi asked. Only in healing, she would have survived without the eye, but the one that smells of lightning and dogs panicked. And since the kid here wanted her as a mate, it was the least I could do. Enaki thought about that for a moment. Have you done anything else to influence Narut? Kayabi's booming laugh filled the chamber. You seem to think I have an ability to manipulate the boy. Oh. That is rich. The only thing I can do is give him chakra. What about what happened in Wave? Enaki asked. He read the report. That was the kid pulling on too much chakra at once. Think of it as something similar to what the dog users of this village go through. The kid here just entered his berserker stage. And the healing factor? Enoiki asked. Another booming laugh. That is his. I just amped it up to where it makes him harder to kill because we know that when he dies, I die and I'm not ready for the eternity in the Shinigami's belly. Enaki looked at the massive shadowed form. Any further questions, ape? I tire of your sounding like a howler monkey. Enaki wanted to ask so many things, but he could hear the fox was getting testy. No. I think we're done for now. Come along, nah. Come back and visit Kit. Kayabi called after them. Once they were far enough away, Enoiki looked at Nah. Don't visit here alone and don't believe everything the fox says. Why? You think he lied about what happened to me? Not this time. But the Kayabi could lie to you to get out of its seal. Enaki said when they returned to the spot they'd entered. Kai, he said, pulling them from the mind. XX. Thanks, Nah said, rubbing his temples. Nah, there is one more thing I want to discuss with you. Enaki began. Yeah. I've been talking with Ino for the last month. It's taken me some time, but I would like to bring her around this weekend to see you and Sakura. She's come to understand what she said was wrong. Naruto looked nervous. Shouldn't you be speaking with Sakura-chan? I will, but I know Sakura will be skittish still. I've also spoken with her about the sleeping habits. Na winced. Your nightmare's still there. Na nodded. I keep seeing him. I keep seeing Sasaki telling me it's my fault. I know. Kakashi-sensei said it was my subconscious mind saying something. What else? Enaki asked. He says it's my fault he died. That I stole his eye. That I stole Sakura-chan's affections from him. Enaki knew all this. Na told him this their first session, as did Kakashi, who was concerned when he'd seen the blonde taking an afternoon nap and the tossing and turning and the words in his sleep. And the only thing that helps the nightmares is Sakura. Enaki said. The younger blonde nodded. Enaki sighed. Tonight we'll try. What I'd like to do is watch. When you begin to have a nightmare, I'll enter your dreams. Do we have to? Na asked. Nah, we need to heal you. It isn't healthy to bottle it up and it's not healthy to not sleep. You'll be fine, Enaki said, but the younger blonde's look told him he didn't think so. Enanoi looked around the dreams. The faces were blank. There were hundreds of different voices. He saw Narut curled up in a fetal position. Standing over him was a dream version of Sasaki Uchiha. You killed me, Dobby. Enaki watched as the landscape changed. It became a bridge surrounded by mist. Enaki could see Kakashi fighting a masked nin with a huge sword. Must be Zabuza, he thought. He saw the dome of mirrors and watched Na appear on the bridge using the smoke screen and Kakashi's speech about his genin. Didn't train him for this. Kakashi, you just threw them at the wolves. Not surprising, they broke. Enaki thought as he watched Sasuke's fight with the masked nin and the leaping in the way of the Sunbi barrage that were hiding the real attack of ice spikes that were under genjutsu. Kid never stood a chance. Enaki thought as he watched Naruto's rage, his calling on the Kayabi's power, and literally ripping the masked nin apart in hunks of flesh and blood. Kid reminds me of the Inuzukas. I'll talk with some, see if time with them can get him to control this state. Enaki thought. He watched as the battle ended with Zabuza managing to kill the client seconds before Kakashi hit him with the Chidori through the spine. The arrival of God and his mercs didn't help the situation. Enanoi could only watch as the two genin fought hard to protect the body of the dead teammate as God teased about selling the body off for its secrets. Narut diving in the way of the crossbow bolt that would have killed Sakura as it would have pierced her heart. He watched as Narut lay there, The fox's chakra pushing the crossbow bolt back from doing more harm. Sakura going insane and slashing any merc that got close. One sneaking up and lunging. Sakura deflecting the blade and taking it in her eye. Inoki watched as Sakura, despite the wood, continued on in her rampage, slicing, kicking, and biting anything that came close. He watched as her kunai sliced God's throat, the pink-haired Kunoiki dropping to her knees and crawling back to her fallen teammates, vomiting at seeing the damage both boys had taken, and her collapsing against Na. Inoki looked closer and saw the red chakra leap from Naruto and touched Sakura. Na's unconscious. How the fox? He muttered as he watched Kakashi perform field surgery. He had to copy that from somewhere. Enonoi watched as he put first one eye into Sakura, then the other eye into Naruto. He watched as Kakashi collapsed from chakra drain. The image faded. Come and see me, Mind Walker. The Kayabi's voice drifted from the darkness. Inoki did as he was asked. He made his way to the seal. You've been feeding his nightmares. The Yamanaka clan leader said, entering the chamber. PFD. You give me too much credit again. The kid's own mind keeps replaying his supposed failures and it must stop. You don't want him to see this? Inoki asked, surprised. Human, I might be a demon lord, but children are precious to even us. The boy has had to put up with too much, and the death of his friend and ally is hurting him. He sees this as an act of betrayal. Inoki sighed. I can only work him through them. I know your clan can seal them away. Your skills in the mind arts, I am aware of them. Inoki was silent for a bit. He looked at the massive eyes from the shadows. That may be, but if they are uncovered later without dealing with them now, they would do more harm than good. Tell me, human, can you save the kid and his mate? Inoki ignored the phrasing. They will be fine in time. These nightmares, are they just of the bridge? No, the events of the boy's life replay nightly now, unless his pink-haired mate is with him. Even then, some slip through. This isn't healthy. There is an ancient art of the mind. I can help Naruto build up his mental walls and learn to isolate them. They won't be gone, but they won't be a factor. What is it called? Keilu asked. Occlumency. It's a way to protect one's mind and organize one's thoughts and emotions. Do so. I am still fixing the kid's chakra paths. They're a mess. They are that way from you being here, Kayabi. A snort was his only answer. Inoki left, cancelling the jutsu. Kakashi slipped amongst the vendors of Konoha. Several days later, the lessons for Naruto had taken up much of the training time as Enonoi said it had to be done if Kakashi didn't want an insane student. The copycat ninja paused as he thought about Sakura's training. He had to admit she was further along than he'd thought, but he also knew that she was pushing her limits at times with the training. I think she's picked up some of Naruto's habits of pushing herself into the ground with exhaustion trying to learn something. He thought as he picked up the groceries for the next few days. He passed the bookstore, his eyes not once, gazing at the advertisement about the newest Ika novel coming out that day. He entered the weapons shop and picked up more Kana sunburn needles and shuriken. His gaze stopping on the kanai and chain combo. He looked it over and made a decision and bought it for one of his students. The other he picked up a pair of bladed ton for Aikashi. He paused before the checkout and turned to see Asuma. The chain-smoking Jonin was looking at him. Hey Asuma, he said with a wave. How are you and your students? Asuma asked. He'd seen Kakashi in town several times, but the white-haired Jonin only paused long enough to buy food and supplies. They are getting better slowly, Kakashi admitted. Emotionally they are still fragile physically. Sigh. Physically they could take the Chunin exams and pass. I think Kakashi admitted, but emotionally they aren't ready. They are still walking wounds. Give them time, Kakashi Asuma said as the famed Jonin paid for his supplies and stored them in a seal. It's only been a couple of months. I know, and I'm not pushing. Inoki's working with them daily. I think he sees my team more than he sees his own family. Asuma snorted at that. Ino wants to apologize. She's had time to think of her actions that day and she's come to realize that she was in the wrong. Inoki's mentioned that he's told me both Naruto and Sakura are leery of coming back or seeing anyone else yet. You see the old man yet? Asuma asked, changing the subject. Yes. I never realized how much Naruto kept the third spirits raised. Kakashi admitted. The whole village has been too quiet without his pranks or his presence. My nephew has been going spa over his idol not being here. Asuma flicked his cigarette aside and pulled out a new one. What about you, Kakashi? What about me? What? Don't give me that. You've not been the same either since the Uchiha's death. You brood so much. Even Guy has thought about buying you those horrible books and sitting you down and reading them out loud to you. Sigh. I don't have the luxury of that anymore. I messed up. I messed up big. Kakashi looked up at the Hokage monument from where they could see it on the street. I was more interested in my books than making sure my students were properly trained. And don't look at me like that. Asuma. I taught him only one thing the entire time I had all three of them. I taught him tree climbing, and that was during the mission in Wave. Kakashi kicked a stone. I up so badly 2 of my students were maimed and a 3rd was killed. My arrogance cost the client's life. I had been too busy bragging that when Sasuke died, I was shocked at the ferocity of Naruto that Zabuza slipped past me, and after kicking Sakura aside, he killed the client. Kakashi, don't. Until I've made up for my sins to my team, I won't ever touch Ika again. Asuma watched him walk away. Sigh. Let your friends in, Kakashi. You keep bottling it up like this and you'll kill yourself. Naruto and Sakura were practicing taijutsu. Each was given scrolls and a style to learn from Kakashi. He had them use their Sharingans to copy the base formats. Naruto's style was a combination of the Dragon Fist and Capoeira. The Dragon Fist Kakashi told him was the style of the 4th Hokage. The Capoeira he told Naruto was from the Uzumaki clan. Sakura was a blend of Kino and Capoeira. It was during this practice that Inoki was watching them. He saw how they moved together. How are they doing? Enonoi looked over his shoulder. Shopping done early? He asked Kakashi, who materialized in the middle of the room. Something like that. It looks like a dance. Enoki said, looking back at the pair. It is the Capoeira, as I know it's just the 2 of them together. It looks perfect fluid. Enoki said, cutting off the explanation. Na was bobbing and weaving as Sakura was doing a handstand and spinning her feet just inches from Na. I picked up newer weapons for them. How's Naruto's lessons? Kakashi asked. He's doing well. The fox is helping, which worries me. Why? What's happening? Kakashi asked. The fox is worried that if Na isn't healed, it will lead to self-termination. Enoki sighed. Every time we've separated them, he looked down. Something is wrong, Kakashi. Every damn time we separate them for long periods, they get worse. It takes days to heal the sleep damage. It's like, Kakashi sighed, the Sharingan. It's killing them. What do you mean? Enonoi asked, rounding on the other man. It was something I've been afraid of and have been avoiding. I need to speak with the Hokage. Could you keep an eye on them and tell them dinner's on the counter? It's just cold sandwiches, I'm afraid. Kakashi was gone before Inoki could say anything. Damn it, he sighed. It makes sense, however, he mutters. The time Naruto shush shined. He doesn't know how, but his body did it to get to Sakura before she got hurt. He thought, remembering the incident from before. He watched as the taijutsu practice broke down to a game of tag, and soon the pair of genin fell into the pond with a splash, both laughing, neither aware of the problems on the horizon. Kakashi, Sarutobi said, surprised to see the Jonin again so soon after his report. We have a problem. What do you mean? Are Naruto and Sakura all right? The Hokage asked. That's, Kakashi said and looked at the chair. Sit. Explain. The Hokage said. Do you remember when I got my eye? Kakashi asked after a moment of silence. Yes. Do you remember when I had to spend a month with the Uchiha? Sui paused. Please tell me you don't mean. I'm afraid so. My own eye isn't up to the task. Kakashi said. The implanted sharing is slowly killing Sakura and driving Na mad. Sarutobi sighed. This is why I hate transplanting Kekai Genkis. He muttered. Are you sure there is no way to? No, sir. I've been working with Sakura for the whole time every day. Her max is 3 minutes and she's bedridden the next day and week. Naruto's nightmares are looping and pulling up everything that's ever happened to him. The only peace the two get is when they're together and touching. And even then, Naruto's nightmares are happening and he doesn't get a restful sleep. Sigh. What can we do? Kakashi, you're the only Sharingan user in Konoha. Sarutobi said as he reached for his pipe. The only one in Konoha. Yes. Sobi looked at Kakashi. You don't mean, sir. We need to bring the operative back. The assignment has gone on long enough. Bad enough. We have to inform the operative about Sasuke's death. Sarutobi filled his pipe, put it to his mouth, and lit it. He took several puffs and stood up, walked to the window. Silence filled the office. I should have you arrested for even having that information. He finally said. The operative told me when I caught up to him in Lightning Country while on a mission for Anbu. Kakashi admitted, I've kept quiet about it all this time, my lord, but now I can't as the lives and sanity of my remaining students are on the line. Serbi remained quiet. I informed the council of the transplants. He finally said, they were not pleased hearing Naruto has it. Well, another transplant will destroy it. Kakashi said. Makoto when she checked on mine told me about it. Kakashi thought of Sasuke's mother who had been a doctor. Fugaku was not pleased. Saratobi snorted as he remembered the leader of the Uchiha clan storming into Manato's office at the time and demanding Kakashi either be killed or his eye removed. The Hiroshin had put an end to that and the Uchiha left the office with soiled robes. Lord Hokage, we need the operative back. We need a fully functioning sharing to complete the bonding. If we don't, my students will die. XX Naruto said. Blonde was laughing as he leapt around while the pink-haired Kunoichi chased him. Come on, Sakura. Aiken. It was funny. I'll show you funny. Stand still so I can hit you. Eniki watched the pair as they raced around the training area. They had left the water and Naruto had said something he couldn't hear, which prompted a blush he could see from the house from Sakura and then the chase. Tomorrow, Ino's coming to visit. I hope she really meant what she said. I can't let them fall back now, he thought as he watched Naruto run up a tree and Sakura on his heels. He had to admit in the time since they had been training, the pink-haired girl had improved by leaps and bounds. Her big hang-up was the Sharingan. She can't get past the time limit of 3 minutes and then she's out for 24 hours, he thought. Below, he watched as Na went from branch to branch. He saw the blonde keeping an eye on his teammate as they worked the trees like a pair of overgrown squirrels. Our children grow up so fast. They don't get childhoods like civilians. They kill and die far too early. Eniki looked at the weapons he'd unsealed from the scroll Kakashi had left. The bladed tonfa made him shudder and the chain and kunai looked just as deadly. He could tell who they were for. What is Kakashi planning? XX Hoage's office. You realize that by bringing this person here and revealing what happened that day. I know. I need to speak with my team as well. They are unaware of things. Na and Sakura at different times have talked with me about killing Itachi. I told them they can't until they are ready. Serbi sighed. I will bring the operative back, but not to the village. I'll have the operative report to your training area. Kakashi bowed his head. Thank you, Lord Hokage. My students, I hope this works, Kakashi. The old man said with a sigh. Let me know in a week how things are going. Kakashi bowed and shushined away. XX. The next day, now Ino, you will behave, Inoiki said as they approached the hotel-turned-training area sanctuary for Team 7 survivors. Ino nodded. She'd thought long and hard about how she'd acted that day, and she was disgusted with herself. She'd spent time talking with her mother and vented her frustrations and thoughts, and her mom had listened and asked questions, forcing Ino to think even more. Do you think Forehead will forgive me? She asked her dad as they walked. I believe so, Princess. Enonoi said he'd talked with Sakura and how she felt about her friendship with Ino, her revelation about breaking it off when they both started chasing Sasaki. How she felt over Ino's reaction. They came closer and found a sign that said they were around back. What's that mean? Ino asked. Kakashi's got them training, Eniki said. The Yamanakas walked around the side and found Naruto doing a handstand on water with Sakura standing on his feet or more to the point 1 foot and going through several motions of blocking with a kunai while Kakashi on the bank threw shuriken and kana at her from different angles and maintaining her balance. Wow, that's cool, Ino said, which caused Naruto to look up and lose his focus, which dropped him and Sakura into the water. The pink-haired girl yelling, Naru, as she hit the water. Kakashi sighed and slipped the weapons in his hand away. Eniki, Ino, he said and gave them his U-shaped eye grin. You're early. Ino went to the edge of the water. Sorry about that Forehead, she said. But that was cool. Sakura huffed as she climbed out of the pond. Na was apologizing as he flopped onto the bank and shook, which made Ino think of the Inuzuka dogs. It's okay, Na, it's why we were using the pond. Soccer aside, you need the chakra control and I need to learn to concentrate. Ino's eyes were locked on the eye patch. I know Pig, but I couldn't stand the headband like Kakashi-sensei and narrate, __, here. Na came back with a towel and Sakura accepted it. You both really have. Ino swallowed. Sakura, nah, I want to apologize for how I behaved that day. It's okay, pig. Sakura said, you were hurt and no, it's not all right. I've had time to think about how I behaved that day, and I'm disgusted with myself. She looked over to where her father was talking to Kakashi. So, Na wandered away, leaving the two girls to talk. She noticed Sakura's gaze moving towards where the blonde was standing on a tree trunk while going th. Rough Ayakada. What's up with you and the Barker? Ino asked. Don't call him that, Sakura said with a snarl, her green eye flashing as she faced the other blonde. Don't you dare call him that, Ino blinked. But he is, Naruto's the dead last. Everyone knows. Ino didn't get any further as Sakura grabbed her by the front of her shirt and with a motion that seemed like practiced ease heaved the blonde girl into the pond. Ino landed with a scream and a splash. Sakura was walking on water towards her, a very pissed off expression on her face. You and all those thrice-damned villagers, including my mother, do nothing but insult and put down Naruto when all he does is try. Ino sputtered as Sakura reached down, grabbed her, and pulled her up. What the hell? When did forehead get this strong? I won't let anyone, you, my mother, or any of those hypocritical villagers harm him anymore. Sakura snarled, holding Ino inches off the water by her shirt. Ino saw Naruto was coming their way, and she turned to see Kakashi and her father watching. Sakura shook her a little. You understand me, Ino pig? Why yes, Sakura-chan. Naruto had arrived. Come on, Sakura-chan. Ino's your friend. Don't fight. Sakura understood the unspoken over me. She shot him a look and he shrugged. Can you walk on water yet? Sakura asked and Ino shook her head. Asuma-sensei just started us on that. Sakura with Naruto's help got Ino to the shore. Come on, pig. I'll show you where the towels are and I think I have a pair of sweatpants and a top you can borrow. The girls walked towards the hotel and Narrat sighed. He was heading back to his chakra practice when he doubled over. A stabbing pain from where his sharing eye was. He went to his knees as he heard Sakura scream. Na Kakashi's, __, a figure emerged from the trees. It reminded him of Haku. But the mask had the leaf symbol and the mask was black with gold marks and the nin wore green and black. It was his last image before he passed out from pain. What the hell? We're dying. Na turned and saw the seal and cage. What do you mean? It means I tried to meddle with the seal and the sharing in ways to allow me to escape and I up. The Kyuubi admitted. Of course, I didn't know of the bonding flaw. Stupid paranoid uchiha. What are you talking about? Na asked. I mean that after I changed the Byakugan into the sharing the uchiha I gave it to build in a fail-safe. Stupid paranoid monkey humping. Yes, whatever. So because you tried to mess around after you said you couldn't. I'm dying. Great, Na said and kicked the wall. It's not what I did. The sharing has a built-in fail-safe. As I said it's killing you and the girl. The Kyuubi said. But it seems that my actions have accelerated it and we're dying sooner rather than later. Na sighed as he ignored the fox. Figures. Anytime something starts to go right in my life, it snowballs and I get screwed. Only this time, it's going to kill Sakura-chan as well. Fantastic. Maybe I should have died all those years ago at the hands of the mob. Then perhaps Sasaki wouldn't have tried to save me and Sakura-chan would be safe. Quote. Get a grip, brat. Whine and cry. Shut up, hairball. I'm sick of your lies. Ever since Inoiki-san brought me here, it's been one lie or another. Because of you, my life was, __, from the day I was born. Na looked at the various entrances. Might as well look around. Give me something to do other than hear the, __, from you. Naruto, wait, the Keilu said, trying to get him to stay, but Na slipped into a pathway and was gone. Crap, I don't want to die either, kid. Kyuubi muttered. XX real world. Do something. Sakura yelled. Kakashi held her back while the masked figure carried Naruto inside. Who is that? Help, Kakashi said, praying mentally that the operative could fix this. Ino looked on helpless. What's happening? She asked, looking at her father, who was right behind Kakashi. As they followed the figure into the house, They found the masked and cloaked figure putting Naruto on the couch in the living room and sitting on the edge. Kakashi walked up. Thank you for coming so quickly. I know this is difficult and save it, Kakashi. Ino and Sakura were surprised to hear a female voice coming from behind the mask. The third told me the voice was softer now. I am so sorry. Kakashi tried, but the figure ignored him. Yamanaka-san, I am swearing you and your daughter to a triple S rank secret. Ino looked at her father, who seemed nervous at this. Operative Sama, I understand. I don't, Ino began, but a look from her father silenced her. The operative waved a hand. I don't have time. The gloved hand went up and the mask was pulled off. Ino and Sakura gasped, seeing the high aristocratic cheekbones and raven hair. What? Makoto, Kakashi said softly as Makoto Uchiha was revealed for the first time in years. Sakura looked at the woman, her green eye wide. I'll help him first since he's further along. The woman said in that even flat tone the uchiha were known for. Sit down, girl, she said, and her dark eyes went back to Na, who had broken out in a cold sweat. Sensei, what's going on? The pink-haired Kunoiki asked. The unveiled Makoto looked up and scowled. You haven't told them, she asked. I thought I had time. Kakashi admitted. Makoto said, and it reminded Sakura of Sasake. She watched the uchiha woman peel Naruto's normal blue eye open, then pull his headband off and check the implanted sharing. You did nice work on the transplant, she said to Kakashi, who just shrugged. I was more interested in keeping my remaining students alive. Yes, Makoto said in a dead tone of voice. She sighed and stood up and looked at Kakashi. We need to talk. What about Na? Sakura asked, but Makoto ignored her. Kakashi looked at Makoto Uchiha for the first time since the Uchiha massacre. The door was sealed and a privacy jutsu was placed on the room. I am sorry about Sasu's slap. The slap interrupted Kakashi's apology to the woman before him. You bastard. Not only are you irresponsible enough to take Genin on a mission they aren't ready for, but then to transplant an eye into children and knowing the effects you let them go this long without aid. And what aid is that, Lady Uchiha? Itachi, Kakashi asked. You should have sent word to me the moment it happened like you did now. Not wait until the Kyuubi mutated it and its effects sped up. Silence reigned. Then Kakashi asked, can you save him? I shouldn't, Makoto said softly as she stepped away and looked out the window. I should let them both die. Makoto, please. You were spared, Kakashi. My husband hated you being out of our control. He had plans to have you either assassinated or forced into a marriage with one of the branch members. Will you save my students? Please, if not for me, then save Manato's son. Makoto turned and looked at Kakashi. So, it is true. He truly is the fourth's legacy in more ways than one. Yes, I was too stupid. No argument there, Kakashi. Makoto said, I'm going to need the Yamanaka's help with the boy. The fox did something strange. She fell silent for a bit, then sighed. You made a real mess of things. Kakashi, my students were dying. I did what? He began, but she turned away. Not only with them, but with Sasake. He needed a friend and someone who would have helped him. He needed his mother more. Kakashi fired back and then looked sorry he said what he did. I know, Makoto said softly. On the day the Uchiha died, I made the sacrifice no mother should ever have to make. I abandoned my sons when they needed me most. And for that, when the day comes and my death really does happen, I will beg for a special hell. No matter how much good I've done being undercover as I am, no matter how many lives I've saved or will ever save, my punishment can never equal the pain I see. Oust my sons. Makoto looked at Kakashi. Get a Noiki and then get the girls out of the room. Put them in some training. This will take time, Makoto said, becoming all business again. Kakashi looked at the woman who helped save him when he got Oido's eye and he didn't see a ninja operative. He saw a broken woman who gave up everything. Silently he turned and left. He understood her pain in some way with his own history. Naruto's Mindscape kit. Kyuubi's voice rumbled. No. Kyuubi's head jerked up seeing the Yamanaka again and this time a woman with raven hair. Anyukiha and not the traitor. Quiet beast. The woman hissed. You've done enough damage here. She turned away and went towards a set of glowing-looking pipes. You have been busy, she muttered, touching them. One glowed red, one blue, and one held a soft gray. I do what I can, monkey. Why are you here? Enanoi stepped forward. Narrat is dying. Snort. I know this already, fool. Damn, built a fail-safe into their bloodline. Inventive. The Kayabi sounded pleased about something, but Enanoi didn't want to figure out what we're going to try and save Naruto and me. Kayabi sounded amused. If I had my way, Fox, I would save the boy and see you banished to the 9th level of hell. Who are you, female? I am Makoto Uchiha, the mother of Sasake and Itachi, she said as she felt the pipes. And Uchiha, fix the blasted Ayu woman. Be quick about it, Keilu demanded. No, she said and turned to the cell where the seal glowed brightly on the bars. Before I do anything to help the boy, you and I are going to have words, monster. And when we're done, you will know your place. XX real world. Sakura jumped rope while on top the water. Kakashi was going out of his way to design chakra building and control exercises for her and Narrat. She allowed her eyes to drift back towards what she has considered home and fell into the water. She surfaced to hear Ino laughing as she was doing the tree walking exercise nearby. Shut up, pig, Sakura muttered, pulling herself onto the shore and wringing out her hair. Focus, Sakura, Kakashi said from where he was doing meditation atop the water. Sorry, sensei, I'm worried about Naruto. I understand, Sakura. His own eye opened and he looked at her. Will that happen to me, sensei? She asked, picking up the jump rope. From where he was, he heard the tremor in her voice. You have time before that happens, and Makoto will have you up and running without problems in no time. Sakura still looked nervous. What is happening really? Sakura asked, walking out onto the water near her teacher. Kakashi sighed, but didn't rise. A fail-safe. At the founding of the Uchiha clan, they did something so that if the Sharingan was ever stolen, it would eventually kill the person it was placed in, unless it was true. Why unlocked by bloodline-wielding Uchiha? He looked at her sadly. I had hoped that Sasuke's being newly woken wouldn't have had time, but it seems it's a genetic defense. Did you? I mean, I'm sorry. Sakura stumbled around her question. When I received Obito's Sharingan, I nearly died before Makoto took me in and opened it for me. She showed me how to use it properly and taught me exercises. Kakashi stood. I plan on teaching them to you and Na, but first, you need more chakra reserves, and Na needs more control. Since we've been here, you both have improved by leaps and bounds. Sakura looked down for a moment. Sensei, who is that woman? Makoto Uchiha. She's Sasuke's mother. Kakashi said. What? But where has she been? Why was he left alone? Sakura, stop. Kakashi said, putting a hand on the young Kunoichi's shoulder. He sighed when her bright green eye looked at him. Makoto is a special operative. She's been away undercover. Her even being here. Sigh. This whole thing is a mess. Kakashi said, and he felt as old as the Hokage seeing his student's eye looking at him begging for answers he didn't have or couldn't give. Makoto, an inhuman scream sounded from the house and Kakashi was running even as Sakura registered it. Kakashi hit the door with his shoulder and bounced off hard. It was glowing blood red with chakra. From the other side, they could hear Naruto's howls of pain and fear. Sakura looked on helplessly as Kakashi flashed through hand seals and tried a Kaiden jutsu that just was absorbed. Ino stood next to Sakura. She had taken longer and finally got there to see the John and bounce off the sealed door a second time. Damn it, Kakashi swore as his hands flashed through a series of seals and the sound of chirping and the smell of burning ozone could be heard as Kakashi lunged at the door. Ah, Chidori, he roared and slammed the lightning attack at the door. Sakura was holding her breath as the attack crackled. XX Naruto's mindscape. Stop. Stop it now, woman. The Kayabi howled as Makoto ignored him, and he watched as she sliced the chakra paths. You're killing us faster. Enaki stood by. Makoto had told him not to interfere no matter what. He watched as she disconnected the paths to the Kayabi's cage and with a surgeon's precision molded them together well away from the seal. Stop. The Kayabi wailed. Silence, demon, Makoto said, not even looking up from her work. You've made this mess. Now I am cleaning it up and preventing you from further influence. The Hokage should have done this years ago. Enaki agreed with that silently. He heard a scream and turned. It's the boy, Makoto said, her eyes still on her task. Go and find him. Console him and bring him back here. Eneki nodded to the uchiha woman and using what he knew of mind arts he sought out Na. Kalubi howled again as Makoto sliced another path. Enenoi ignored the demon as he followed the tunnel he sensed Naruto had taken. Damn you, Kayabi roared. I am damned already, monster. But if I do anything, I will make this boy's life better by ridding your influence. Makoto said as she continued her psychic surgery, her own sharing and blazing. I can help him. The Kayabi tried to bargain. I don't believe you. You've done too much damage to him over the years. Makoto said as she sealed and rewired another chakra path. The Kayabi sighed as he studied the paths she was leaving. If you're wondering what I'm doing, Makoto started speaking and the Kayabi felt that he'd pissed off the wrong woman as she continued her work, telling him how it was going to be from now on and that she would explain it to the boy. XX Inoiki followed the screams of pain and he finally found Na near a pool. It was a memory reserve. Na, he said, kneeling next to the boy whose back was arched in pain as another wave of pain lanced through him. Na, focus on my voice, Inoiki said, taking the younger blonde's hand. It's not real, he said. Kami, the boy shouldn't be feeling what Makoto is doing. The Yamanaka clan head thought as he watched his chakra swelled around the boy. It hurts. Narrat hissed. Enenoi picked him up and rushed back to the Kayabi's chamber. XX real world. Kakashi backed away and looked at his hand. He'd poured a lot of chakra into that last Chidori. His hand was blistered. His eyes studied the door and he saw that it hadn't made a difference. I need to get through this, he thought, preparing for another shot with the Chidori. He knew his chakra reserves were running low already. I don't care what happens to me. I need to check on my student, he thought, not liking the feeling of the red chakra. Sensei. He turned to see Sakura go to her knees, her hands covering the area where her own sharing was. Sakura slumped to the floor unconscious. Sakura Ino yelled and rolled her friend onto her back. Kakashi was there. Damn it, he cursed, realizing that Sakura's own eye was shutting her down. He peeled off her eye patch and pulled his own headband off, revealing his own sharing. Hold on, Sakura. Please hold on. He kept repeating as he forced her eye open and tried to manipulate the sharing into a diagnostic cycle he'd learned all those years ago. What's happening? Ino asked. Her sharing is shutting her mind down and her body. Kakashi answered quickly. Come on, Sakura. Don't give up on me now. Finally, her eye responded and he breathed a sigh. She going to be all right? Ino asked. For now, but we won't have long. Kakashi said, sitting back and covering his eye and Sakura's once more. That took the last of my chakra. I can't do more now. Damn it, he thought. His eye turned to the door. Makoto, please hurry. Things have become more complicated. He thought XX Naruto's mindscape. Makoto looked up seeing Enenoi carrying Na. What the hell? What you're doing here? He's feeling it, Eneki said, laying the boy down. Makoto growled as she went back to work, ignoring the blonde screams as she cut and welded new paths. I'm nearly done, she said. Kayabi had fallen quiet and Inoiki peered in to see the fox panting and laying on its side. What happened? I severed several of the connections. The fox had been siphoning power from the boy. Expect him to have better control after this as he won't be fighting every step of the way. Makoto said in a toneless voice that Alyuki had developed naturally, it seemed. Enenoi used several mental disciplines and pushed with his own chakra trying to ease Naruto's pain. Keep him going, Yamanaka. I'm nearly done. Makoto said, I'm trying. Enenoi said as he felt the chakra enter Narrat. The mental representations brought a closer connection to chakra, and in the mind Enenaki and his clan could see how chakra moved in its various shades and colors. It was a skill he was looking forward to teaching Ino. If she ever focuses, she could be a damn fine ninja. The Yamanaka clan leader thought as he worked on easing the pain from the boy before him. Street stop. Keilu's breathing was labored and the mental representation seemed to have shrunk down to the size of an Inuzuka dog. Makoto ignored him. Why you cut that one? And you kill the boy and his pink-haired mate. The Keilu intoned. Makoto paused and finally looked at the fox. How do I know you're not lying? Oh. On my rule. As the Ninetail. I swear it. Kalubi intoned. Makoto paused, then moved her hand away. She looked at her work a moment, then ignoring the fox, she went and knelt next to Na, whose breathing was slowing down now that she was no longer performing psychic surgery. Hello Na, why you're an uchiha? He said, seeing her eyes. Makoto smiled. I am. We'll talk more, but right now I need you to look into my eyes. Your sharing is killing you, and I need to disable the safety and allow you to access it properly. What about Sakura Aiken? He asked. I'll get to her next, but you were in the most danger at the moment. I'll explain what I've done here as well once you're awake. But now look into my eyes. Naruto did, and he actually felt his sharing responding. He would swear if asked he heard it spinning like a combination lock, and after several minutes he heard a click. There we go. Makoto said, sleep now Naruto, and he felt his body and become weightless. Weird. I didn't know I could feel that in my mind. He thought as he sunk into a healing slumber. Let's go, Makoto said. Neither adult looked back at the sealed Kyuubi, which was now the size of a cat. It was looking on, its eyes blazing at what it had just lost. XX real world. Ino noticed it first. Kakashi-sensei, look, she said, pointing. The white-haired Jonin turned and watched as the chakra faded from the door, and seconds later, it opened to reveal Makoto. Daddy, Ino asked. Your father is tending to Uzuaki. Makoto said tonelessly. She saw the girl on the floor. What happened? Kakashi spoke, his voice ringing with exhaustion. After you went in there, we heard a scream and tried to gain access. Soon after that, Sakura's sharing started to cause her pain. It was like the time my own went into shutdown. I managed to trick it into a diagnostic run, but I'm out of chakra and keeping awake on willpower alone. Makoto nodded. Girl, help me get her to the couch with Na. I'll deal with her eye there. Ino and Makoto got Sakura onto the couch with Na. No one missed the blonde's arm wrapping around Sakura's midsection, even in sleep. Makoto peeled the pink-haired girl's eye open and forced the Sharingan to lock on her own. Kakashi stood there watching, and he saw Sakura's breathing speed up then slow down, and Makoto smiled as she recovered the girl's eye and sat back. It's done, she intoned, looking at Kakashi. Thee'll sleep till late tomorrow morning. She stood. There are spare rooms, Kakashi began. I need to speak with the Hokage. See you tomorrow, Hitaki, she said and left. Enaki covered the sleeping teens and was glad to see color returning to Naruto's skin. I nearly lost them, Kakashi said. You didn't, Enaki said this time. Kakashi corrected him. Ino was silent as she watched her pink-haired friend. Her own mind was going a million thoughts a second at what she'd seen. She noticed how her friend in sleep turned over and snuggled into the blonde that held her. Damn it, forehead. We have to talk. She thought Kakashi said he was going to bed. Enaki looked at his daughter. Ino, I'm going to stay here. I can send a message for Shikaku or Chosu to come and get you. Daddy, can I stay? I want to make sure Sokka is all right. She said. Father and daughter kept a silent vigil. Enaki covered his daughter with a blanket when she fell asleep in a chair. His thoughts were on what he'd seen and what it would mean. 3 days passed. In that time, there was a drastic change in both of Kakashi's students. Naruto's control skyrocketed, and Sakura found she was not having trouble using the sharing for extended periods of time. Ino had spoken in private with Sakura after she woke up and promised to be back the following weekend. Kakashi relaxed now that his students were out of danger and presented them with gifts. Naro, the bladed tonfa for you and will work with your style. He handed the weapons to Naruto, who picked up one and looked it over, testing the balance. Now, be careful, they are sharp, Kakashi warned, and the blonde nodded. Since waking up, he'd become quieter than before, more introspective. Kakashi was worried, but Makoto told him about fixing the links to the fox. Flashback. How Makoto sat in the office at night. Her mask was nearby. You never did realize that while the males of the Uchiha family would develop the Mangekyo sharing, the women developed their own eye. It allows us to manipulate probabilities and matter. I used it to sever the Kyuubi's connections it created while Naruto was growing up unaware and placed safety seals in place. With a sigh looked at Kakashi, and with it, I escaped the fate of the rest of my so-called clan. Why, Makoto? Kakashi asked. Why didn't you try and save them? Or at least you youngest. The Uchiha became too arrogant, corrupt. If Itachi hadn't killed off the clan, they would have betrayed Konoha in their bid for power. Why didn't any of the other women see it then? Makoto took the wine glass Kakashi had given her when she arrived and took a deep drink. As you know, there are 2 ways to activate the Mangekyo. For a woman to achieve her ultimate eye, there is only one, she sighed. What kind of bloodline is worth one's soul and need to murder one's loved ones? End flashback. And these are for you, Sakura. I was originally going to give you a chain and kanai combination, but after seeing your skills now, I spoke with Makoto and she suggested you learn how to use these. He handed her a pair of comma. Both teens looked at their new weapons. I've got scrolls with the basics and also will show you how you to maintain your new weapons. By the time Ino returned the following weekend, both had an understanding of their new weapons. Ino watched as Sakura with the Karma linked by a thin chain spun and attacked the shadow clones Kakashi had created. The Karma spun in her hands and acted as extensions as she took out the shadow clones. Kakashi nodded. Good, you've gotten the basics. I'll create a stronger clone to work with you some more later. Finish learning the second set. Narrate Enonoi is here for your session. The blonde looked up and nodded. Ino saw him slip the bladed toner into their sheaths across his back and head inside. Hello Ino. Sakura's got another 20 minutes of lessons, Kakashi said as he headed inside. Ino watched as Sakura took a stance. The comma in her hands started to weave and she watched as the rosette-haired girl start to move. The strange style of martial arts Kakashi had been teaching her, now looking like a deadly dance of death. Ino had to admit under Kakashi's tutelage her friend was learning faster and with the now controlled sharing she seemed shaking her head. She smirked as Sakura finished. Not bad forehead, you might actually make it with the circus. Yeah well if I make it in the circus then that means you'll make it one of the clowns. Are you trying for the bearded lady with that 5 o'clock shadow? Your growing eyes widened as Sakura's return zinger actually stung. Think too much about it Ino. Naruto has been teaching me taunts and insults while we spar. Ino watched as Sakura used water from a rain barrel to splash her face and her hair then towel dry. What's with the weed whackers? Ino asked, seeing Sakura hook them to her back. They're a ninja weapon, Ino. Sakura said as they entered the main building. So Ino said go ahead and ask. Sakura said the sharing. How is it? The blonde asked. Weird and at the same time frightening and cool. Sakura touched the eye patch she wore. Ino had brought her multiple patches, different colors. She was wearing a deep red one right now. What do you mean? Ino asked, watching as the pink-haired girl got some juice from the fridge and offered her some. Ino declined with a shake of her head. Well, I'm still getting used to the depth perception with one eye uncovered and compensating for the blind spot. It's frightening in how strong it is when it's uncovered. Things seem to slow down. I'm still learning how to copy things. It's not as easy as everyone thinks. Kakashi-sensei has explained that since neither Naruto or Iuchi, we need to break down jutsu differently in our mind before we can copy them. She sipped her juice. We're missing several active lows in our minds that would do that. So, it's not a direct copy, but a mimic, and we have to remember them, whereas the Uchiha's mind would just store it. And the cool part. Sakura smiled. So Narut, how's that going? Ino asked. Sakura sighed. We still sleep near one another. We can't sleep apart. We've tried several times. Damn, Keilu made that link between us. Sakura thought about the talk Makoto had with them after they woke up. Explained some of the connections the Keibi made were permanent. We haven't really spoke much since waking up, but at the same time, Sakura looked out the window. We feel closer than ever before, she said softly. XX. Narut sighed as Enonoi pulled away. Well, he's still asleep and the size of a house cat. The elder Yamanaka said, by severing those connections and altering the seal, Makoto's ensured that you can still take its chakra as your own as the seal was designed for, but there should be no more problems. You won't even hear it. I didn't hear it before except when I got mad, Narut said, his tone flat. And in all the years growing up, it stole from me and handicapped me. We didn't know, Naranoi said. But now that we do, we can do checkups to make sure it never happens again. He rubbed his jaw. How is your chakra control now? Kakashi-sensei says it's perfect. A complete turnaround from before. You still having the dreams? No. Na says, ever since Makoto-san did whatever she did to the sharing, I haven't. But I can't sleep now without Kakashi has mentioned it. There is a bond forged by the Keibi between you two. It's like a rubber band. You can't be a certain distance apart while asleep. A defense mechanism, Na said softly. He looked up. That's what Makoto told us. Enonoi nodded. He was surprised that the uchiha kept returning. She had said that her cover was broken as they discovered her missing. The Hokage had ordered her to stay close. Thus far, none outside of Kakashi's group and the two Yamanakas knew of her being alive, and it will stay that way for now, she had said. Every time Enonoi had seen her around the village, she had been wearing her mask. I think we'll keep these sessions to once a week for now. Enaki said, you've gotten better since we started. Naruto nodded. Thanks to you and Kakashi-sensei and Sakura-chan, don't let things build up again. Talk with your sensei or me. You had a lot of emotional baggage you didn't need to carry. I didn't want to be a burden to the old man, and by the time Inoiki nodded, by the time you got to a team you figured that it was status quo. He sighed no more. Kakashi is here, as am I, and I think even Makoto. Na nodded. Don't nod, Na, not alone. The blonde sighed. Now why don't you go grab a shower? I think Kakashi should be back from town soon. XX dinner at the training house was interesting with 3 adults and 3 teens. Makoto, Kakashi, and Enonoi were talking quietly at one end while Ino was holding the conversation up with the teens. So, are you guys coming back to the village soon? I mean, it has been months. Sakura shared a look with Na, their uncovered eyes holding a whole conversation. It depends if Sensei thinks we're ready. Well, Shikamaru and Shoji want to see you both, but in Shika's words, it would be too troublesome to walk all the way out here. Na snorted. Lazy, he muttered. How are the others? Sakura finally asked. Ino shrugged. Team M8 has been doing a lot of D-rank missions. My team, well, we get one a day, then we spend it training, and Asuma takes us out for lunch. Usually barbecue. Sokka smirked. You still eating so little? She teased. I need to watch my figure. Ino said, trust me, you're hurting yourself. Sakura said, I finally started to eat right and I feel better and not so wiped out after training. She's right. Naruto said, your body will start to feed on your muscles first if it needs energy. And jutsu consume energy. Think about if you use any of your family jutsus. You could use them longer if you ate properly. Ino looked from the blonde to the rosette and sighed. Her own father had told her the same thing as had Asuma. But I don't want to get fat. Ino wed. You won't. Sakura said. Ino, we're ninja. Our training alone ensures that. But Choji is fat. And the 3 paused as if they could hear a distant cry of, I'm not fat. I'm big boned. Shaking her head, she continued. And look how he eats. You know, Choji's whole clan is like that. Their body is designed for their family jutsu. Look at Shikamaru. His family is designed for flexibility to use their shadows. While your family has strong mental capacity, and your minds develop at an early age, Sakura said. Na nodded in agreement. Ino sighed and Sakura smiled as she slid a plate of food in front of her friend. I'll help design you a workout program. Ino nibbled on the chicken, which soon turned into a ravenous consumption. Naruto leaned over to Sakura and whispered, you'd think she hasn't eaten in a while. Probably hasn't, Sakura whispered back. The adults watched and Inoiki smiled in relief. There goes the dieting now. Maybe her mother can actually feed her properly again. As the meal was winding down, Kakashi cleared his throat. Naro, Sakura, he said, starting off. I have been informed that this year's Chunin exam will be taking place here in Konoha. Ino smiled as she handed her form to Asuma. She'd known about it before Shikamaru and had smirked about it the whole time. Why are you so happy? Shikamaru asked, handing in his own even though he kept saying this was too troublesome. Saw Sakura and Naruto. They plan on taking the exam. Shisaduma paused in lighting his cigarette and looked at the lone kunoichi on his team. They have a new teammate? He asked. No. Ino said. Last night, Kakashi talked with them about taking the exam with the rest of us, but he didn't tell them Abu. A new teammate. She was concerned now. Why? Because you need a team of 3 to partake in the exam. Asuma said. What is Kakashi playing? He muttered. XX. Kakashi looked at his team as they entered the city gates for the first time since they'd left. Naruto had become closed and the closer they got to the gates. Sakura, picking up on her friend's mood, moved closer and closer with each step. Halt. A pair of Chunin stepped out of the shadows. Oh. Hey Kakashi. Ormo Kotetsu. Kakashi greeted them. And who do we have here? Kotetsu asked, joining his friend. Madam Sakura Haruno and Naruto Uzumaki returning from training trip. We're heading to report to the Hokage now. Both genin flashed their ID badges. Hey Na, welcome back. Ormo said, Yeah, it's been far too quiet without you around. Katu said, giving the blonde a grin. They saw the patch and covered eye on each genin. Copying the copycat, man. Kakashi gets all the luck. Kakashi said nothing but put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Well, as Guy says, I am cool and ultra hip. He winced saying those words, but anything for his student who was tensing as this kept going on. Well, catch up later. We really need to report to the Hokage. Kakashi said, steering his students away. Once the trio was out of sight, Azumo looked at Katu. You notice? Yeah. I hope he bounces back. Well, be on watch. I'll pack the cooler and the chairs up. Well, make sure he becomes happy again. We could take him to a strip joint. And they both winced, getting whacked in the back of the head by a purple-haired Anbu who had dropped down from the roof. I meant to say, well, take Hayat to a strip. The smack knocked Katetsu stumbling forward. Idiot. He meant to say, well, pay you to strip. And the blow to the gut knocked the wind out of him. Hey, you think Yuga would wear the mask? The shuriken buried in the ground, grazing the padding of his pants at a very sensitive area. Go is a lucky bastard, Azumo said, helping his friend back up. And they kept their mouths shut as the Anbu woman vanished back to the shadows. XX Hoage's office. The knock was a welcome one and Serby sighed as he put another stack of papers aside to go out. Enter, he called. He smiled seeing Naruto enter first, followed by his teammate. Sakura Haruno. The Hokage mentally corrected and finally Kakashi. Lord Hokage Team 7 reporting back for active duty. Kakashi said formally noted, hello, Naruto Sakura. He looked at the blonde. He's still not like he was, but he doesn't look shattered like he did when they first came back. He thought, welcome home, Lord Hokage, Sakura said with a bow. Og-san said, his lone blue eye meeting the Hoages. The old man gave him a smile. I've missed you, my boy, he said. Missed you, too, the blonde admitted, and everyone was surprised when the Hokage rose, came around the desk, and hugged the blonde. Sakura felt it and knew it. But the blonde, when he buried his head in the Hoage's robes, had tears running down his cheeks. There, XX. The two had taken the couch. So, you've decided to stay as ninja of Konoha. Good. Na smiled somewhat. I thought I was ready, but the closer we got to Konoha, it will pass Na. Kakashi said, we talked about this. The blonde nodded. Kakashi looked at the Hokage. I would like to enter my team in this year's Chunin exam. Su Tobied, you need 3 members. What it's been decided that a team minimum this year after last year's butchery of so many pairs are singles. The Hokage said that was in Kiri. Kakashi remembered the report. He looked at his team. What do you suggest? He asked. Well, there are a few genin running around without teams as they're either survivors or their teams disbanded due to members not continuing being ninjas after missions. The Hokage said, his eyes taking in Team 7. Sakura and Naruto shared a look. It's that you wait until the academy passes the next batch of genin next summer. Can we have a few minutes? Sakura asked. The Hokage nodded and watched as the pair went to the far side of the room. What do you think? He asked Kakashi. They will do what needs to be done. Truthfully, they won't like replacing Sasuke, but to advance, they know they will need to do this. Kakashi looked at the Hokage. I want to talk with you about Makoto. The Hokage looked at the one-eyed Junin. Yes, after the Chunin exams, I request that she be assigned to Team 7. With her cover blown on her last assignment, she has nothing left in Konoha. And truthfully, I could use the help teaching Naruto and Sakura about their sharing. Satobi stuffed his pipe and sighed. I'll think about it. They saw the pair talking. It was the most animated he'd seen Naruto since the return. XX, we can't. Na said, we have to. How are we going to get enough skills to finish what Sasaki wanted? Sakura argued, but taking on someone new, Naruto began. It just has to be for the exam. Sakura countered. You heard the Hokage. We need a team of 3. So, they give us a third body. We take the exam, make Chunin, and then asked Kakashi-sensei to get the person reassigned. Naruto looked at the pink-haired girl. That's cold soccer Aiken. That's life. If it was fair, Sasaki would be here with us, and we wouldn't be worrying about what to do. We both wouldn't have nearly died. And oh you, Naruto started to say, but stopped and looked away. Sakura realized what was left unsaid and reached out, but he backed away. Though you would still hate me hanging in the air. Fine. Tell the old man. Well, take the temporary teammate. Nah, said Sakura aside, knowing that she couldn't leave the words unspoken unanswered. Nah. I don't feel that way. You are important to me. Yeah, sure. Nah said as he faced the window. Sakura sighed. He'd been getting moody ever since they left Kakashi's training house. The looks from the villagers from the gate to the tower didn't help, and now he was hearing the words she used to say, but now would never utter again. And it hurt to see the gap reappearing between them, all because they'd come back to Konoha. I wish we could have stayed at Kakashi's inn. It was peaceful, and no one judged us, judged him. Sakura walked up to the desk and gave a formal bow. We will choose a temporary teammate to take this year's exam with. But the person will only be temporary, she said and looked to where Naruto was standing. The Hokage nodded and pulled out several folders. These genin are currently doing D-rank missions around the village and have no teams. Look these over and speak with them. Kakashi will hand in the forms after you have a third member. Sakura accepted the folders. She turned and her lone emerald green eyes softened, seeing Na looking away. I hurt him again. Will he turn his back on me and leave me if I do it again? XXL swear. The brat has returned. Kakashi's done his job then and taught him and the girl to use the eye. Yes, my lord. They both look stronger and the boy's chakra feels stable. You think the fox has had an influence? Can I use that to gain control of them? I don't think so, my lord. And the reports we've managed to get from raiding the Yamanaka office, it sounded like something fixed the boy's control over the chakra, and the fox is even less of an issue than before. Damn, what went on out at that dilapidated inn, Lord Danzo? They need a third member to enter the exam. Chuckles. Good, very good. See that we have a spy on their team. It will be difficult, my lord. The Hokage has reportedly given them a list of genin that don't have teams. Get me a copy of that list. Perhaps we can still turn this to a win in our favor. As you command, the root said and vanished. I can still play this game better than you, old man. I shall rule Konoha, and the Sharingan and the fox will be my tools, and you've got them both in one body now. Danzo chuckled as he thought of the possibilities that just opened up to his designs on the future of Konoha under his control. Not that one. Sakura put the folder aside and opened the next. She didn't even have it opened all the way when Naruto said that one either. Now you're being difficult, Sakura said, opening it and scanning it. After a minute, she sighed and closed it. Na smiled. Shut up, Sakura said. I was right. Na said with a grin as he was flipping a kanai. Even you can be right once in a while, Sakura said mockingly and stuck out her tongue. Hey, don't point that at me. Who knows where it's been? Hey, the rosette said in mock rage. Na laughed and pulled the next folder, opened it, and closed it. What? Amy, he said. Definitely not. Sakura agreed about her old tormentor with a sour face. She grabbed the next folder. We've been at this for a while, and the Hoage secretary brought us another stack. Na made sound and scanned another folder. I thought the old man said those were it. He gestured to the original stack. His secretary said those were the most recent, but not all of them. Sakura said with a sigh, all this manpower going to waste. She said, no kidding. With so many genin without teams, you'd think that instead of having them do single D-rank missions, they'd reform them into full teams. Na sighed. Then why don't you both do that? Sakura and Na jumped a foot in the air as they turned to see the Hokage leaning against the wall by the door. Oji-san, don't do that, Naruto said with a hand over his heart. Serbi chuckled slightly as he came further into the room. Those have been waiting for the council to do for nearly a year. He said sadly. Na scrunched his nose at that. Why does the council have so much power? I mean, Trademark was telling me a bit about what they were trying to force him to do while we were training on the tree climbing exercise. Sakura looked surprised at this. She should have realized the boys talked and did more than trade insults. Saratobi pulled up a chair and sat down with a groan. How is your search going? Na grunted and showed him the stack of rejected files. Not so good. I knew a lot of them from previous attempts. Sarobi internally winced. Well, I'm sure you'll find someone, he said. Na grunted and palmed his lone blue eye. Sakura noticed he did this when he was stressed. I really have gotten to know Naruto since Sasuke's death. When he's embarrassed or nervous, he scratches the back of his head and neck. When he's stressed, He uses the heel of his hand to rub his eye. That big grin he shows the world as fake, but the soft smile is real. She shook her head. How about we take a break? She said, closing a folder of another former classmate that she knew wouldn't work well with her and Aura. I'll buy you both lunch. Think about organizing those and I'll buy you both dinner. The trio left, not seeing the shadow from the corner. Finally, move. A young man wearing a root uniform slipped in and placed several more files into the stacks. With a look at the room, the young man slipped away to report to Danzo and wait to see if the plan would take fruit. XX Ikyaku ramen stand. The old man and his daughter were happy to see Naruto and fussed over him. They welcomed Sakura as well, and the Hokage smiled, seeing Naruto's tension relax at being welcomed warmly by those who care for him. Sakura watched as Na inhaled bowl after bowl of ramen. She shook her head, but knew that he had a big appetite. But this is the first time I've sat and watched him eat just ramen. So, the two of you need a third teammate? Ayami asked as Na had finished his narrative of what had taken place. Yeah, Og-san has us looking through files. Narad made a face but smiled as old man Tuki placed a fresh bowl of ramen in front of him. Eat up, he said. But this one is on me. We were worried about you, the ramen cook said. Sakura saw it in Naruto's eye and felt it down the bond. Thanks, old man, Narad said softly. The Hokage too gave the blonde a soft smile. Sakura realized that while she had her mother, Narad had made his own family with this strange group of a ramen cook, his daughter in the Hokage. Na felt the hint of sadness and looked. You okay, Sakura-chan? He asked. I'm fine. Just thinking, she said. Na knew better, but he also knew that Sakura would talk in her own way and time. XX. It took 30 bowls, but Na finally pushed back from the counter and patted his full belly. Sakura watched as the Hokage paid the bill. Naruto was still chatting with the cook. Sakura, the greenied rosette-haired girl turned. Yes, Ayami, if you're looking for a partner, might I make a suggestion? Sakura nodded. Any help would be appreciated. Well, this is a temporary partner, right? Ayami asked. To which Sakura nodded. I suggest then there's a genin who hasn't been on a team in a couple of years. She usually trains at night at training ground 13. Sakura was surprised by this. Why? I mean, why has this person stopped doing missions and such? Ayami closed her eyes. It's a sad story. Several years ago, her whole team was killed. Her Jun-sensei and her teammates who were her best friends. She quit that day. What's her name? Sakura asked. Ayami shook her head. If she wants you to know, she'll tell you. But she usually goes by the name Rao. She wears a mask and is a private person. But she is skilled enough to help you. And Narut. Tell her Ayami sent you and she less than Shem Narutkan, she said. And that sealed it for Sakura XX. It had taken most of the afternoon for them to sort the various files into teams. Once they were done, Narut said he'd meet her for dinner. He wanted to talk with the Hokage and he'd drop off the files. Sakura nodded distractedly. I'll meet you later, she agreed and left. Narut could feel her distraction, but he could tell that she was closing it off thanks to the training they'd gotten from Inoiki and Makoto. With a shrug, he went to tell the Hokage that none of the available genin were acceptable to him, nor Sakura with the amount of personality issues. I guess we'll have to wait till next year. Na thought. XX Training Ground 13. Sakura made her way and stopped seeing a female going through the motions of a kada of an unknown taijutsu. Ayami was right. She's wearing a mask and cowl. You can't tell who it is. Sakura thought. Hello, she called out. Who goes there? The figure that Ayami called Raku demanded. I don't want any trouble. My name is Sakura. Ayami told me how to find you, she said, entering the training grounds and stopping several feet away. Ayami Rao said. And why would she send you to find me? My teammate and I need a third member to take this year's Chunin exam. And not interested. Rao said and started to turn away. Wait. Ayami said you could help. It's just for the exam, Sakura said, trying to stop the masked nin from leaving. Just for the exam? Rao asked, her voice muffled by her mask. Yes. I want to find someone who won't judge my other teammate. And who is your other teammate that would prevent you from asking a more active genin? Rao asked. Narut Uzumaki. Sakura said. Rao remained quiet and Sakura figured that she wasn't going to agree. I'm sorry to disturb you. Sakura turned and took several steps. Wait, she turned back to see Raku standing with arms crossed. I will be your teammate for the exam. Really? Why did you change your mind? Sakura asked. My reasons are my own. What training ground and time? What? We need to work on some tactics and spar to know what we can do, so we can compensate during the exam. Rao said. Oh, training ground 7. Sakura said. Naro and I usually start at 7 o'clock. Rao nodded. I'll be there. Rao walked off. Good night, Sakura called after the masked girl. And thank you. Rao waved a gloved hand before vanishing from sight. Sakura smiled and hurried home. Wait until I tell Naruto-kun. He'll be happy we can take the exam. Kakashi had watched the whole thing from the safety of the trees and masked his chakra. You're playing a dangerous game, he said, looking at Rao who appeared on a branch near him. They need help and it's something I can do for him. The masked girl said, how do you think he'll react if no, this is now when he finds out? Rao shrugged. He'll be excited and rant a bit about people keeping secrets from him. I'll explain and he'll be fine. Kakashi sighed. I hope you're right. He moved to go, but Raku's muffled voice stopped him. Be on time, Kakashi, or I will burn your book collection. His eye widened and he turned. But Rao was really gone this time. Strange girl, he muttered before leaving, deciding to get a good night's rest. He hadn't told her or anyone outside of Asuma and Inaki that he hadn't touched his books since Sasuke's death, and he hadn't been late since then, either. She'll find out soon enough, So guys, what do you think about this Naruto story? Tell me your opinion in the comments. And if you want more Naruto What If stories, make sure to subscribe to Universe of Naruto. Thanks for watching.